Good morning, DJ and PK. It's 97.5 The Zone. Welcome in on a Tuesday morning. It is time to hear from college football coaches. Time to get ready for another week. Utah State is headed to Vanderbilt to play another SEC team on the road. Texas A&M is their only loss, and they are 3-1. What can they do against Vanderbilt, who is flying out of the gate? Bronco Mendenhall talking about the win over McNeese, his team, and a little bit about Vanderbilt right here on The Zone. Bronco, good morning.
Good morning.
Bronco, there are a lot of things that went right in that game. I wonder how comfortable you were in a game like that, having your quarterback be your leading rusher. He was effective, but you don't want to get that guy hit.
Yeah, it's a mixed bag for sure, as he sets the identity for our team, not only in production but mindset. And our offense and our team basically goes through him. And so, yeah, it's a delicate balance for sure. When you think about durability, sustainability, but you also think about, program development, culture building, and success and outcome. So, yeah, a lot of intuition built into it, and a lot of just kind of, control as you go, and based on what you see and what he looks like and how much can he handle.
I recall when you were at BYU, you said that, you needed a year or two to build the program up depth-wise. A game like this that you had on Saturday night gives you an opportunity to see some of that depth in action. What is your level of assessment of your team's depth?
We're thin, but that comes with transition. Even though the transfer portal can provide immediate access, and I think I would also say a game like that only happens when you play really well, execute at a high level, and then meet expectations and get a lead, so then you can create an opportunity for the depth. So we had some players that were able to get some repetitions that maybe they wouldn't have gotten, but the execution and the way that the team played allowed that to happen, but not as much in terms of depth development as we would have hoped, and we're not in that position yet as a program.
Trying to figure out who your guys are. There's so many new guys. One of the guys who had a big game for you on defense, William Holmes, was actually there last year, but he didn't play a lot for the Aggies last season. A couple of sacks, 3 tackles for loss, 7 tackles overall. He's from Michigan. What can you tell us about him? Who is William Holmes?
Yeah, a really interesting story. Professional baseball player. Doesn't know the game of football. And so it's right in our wheelhouse and right in my preferred wheelhouse of players that have potential, not much experience, but enough ability. And so it's been really fun to work with Will to this point and help him learn the game of football, to learn the position, to be able to maximize his skills. And really, again, our program specializes in the development of really raw talent with good mindset and good ability. And Will fits into that category just in a very unique story.
One of the things you said last week caught my ear, and I'm going to bring it up this week. I knew I would save it because I expected that you would be able to have the level of success you had against McNeese rather than focus specifically on that game. And you said that it's obviously you had done some research and some study, something along the lines, correct me if I'm wrong, but, positive and negative of coaching, the 6 positive reinforcements to a negative.
Yes.
And it made me think, and you've gone through the years being able to do this and know what it's about and how to reach and touch young people, so to speak. From that perspective, as a head coach, how much of your job is not just the X's and O's, but figuring out how to reach, in this case, young people? You also have people that are older and assistants and staff members and all that stuff. And so I'm just wondering, how much has the job evolved in terms of being able to understand everything rather than how to block and tackle?
Yeah, it's a great question. And really my role as a head coach is predominantly what you just described. At one point, I was coach of the nose tackles. I was the defensive coordinator, helping with special teams and being the head coach. Those days are gone, at least for me. And the majority of time I'm spending, right, is on the connection part, the communication part, the development of each individual staff and player, as you mentioned, through positive leadership, psychology, messaging, and the development of confidence and kind of the human spirit, I would say. and we address it every single day. It's truly my passion. I do it through football, but the development of young people is something that it's why I'm back in coaching. And everything I share with our team is research-oriented, backed up by the best and brightest people in the studies they've done. And a pretty simple message for our listeners, which is not specific to coaching. The relationships that are healthiest, interpersonal relationships I'm talking about, the correlation of positive to negative in terms of comments and content from one person to another, these are the healthiest relationships, are 6 positives to every negative. Interesting, once it gets to even about 50-50, many of those relationships fail. Once it's under 50-50, most, if not all, fail in terms of divorce or some kind of toxic level or just relationships that don't hold. And so when we're coaching, and by the way, that's self-talk as well, a minimum of 3-to-1 just by how you talk to yourself. And so we're really intentional about developing each individual, but also helping them develop themselves. And easy as a coach and easy for fans to see only what's negative, only what needs to be corrected. And yet what we know is to go from good to great, you actually focus on what you're already good at and make that great. And you just raise your flaws to kind of just industry standard to where they're just not so awful you can't function. But you don't spend your time on those things. You just get those to where they're functionable. Most of your time is already targeting what you're good at and making that great.
I'm curious how much you've changed over time, and if you reflect back to the people who coached you, because we're, ballpark the same age. And when I was in high school, I had 2 experiences. One, I got yelled at, and 2, I got shunned. That was most of the coaching right there. And there was a level of tough guy, hold people accountable. This is how you do it. Break them down and build them back up. I specifically remembered that when I was first getting into TV, hearing coaches say that. Did you ever buy into that? Did you evolve over time?
Mm-hmm. So there's a really delicate balance. But so what I'm not saying when I'm just expressing all those things regarding ratios and positive comments, that also does not mean that the highest of expectations still don't drive behavior and help people aspire. And so the delicate balance in our program is very, very demanding. And accountability is one of our specialties in terms of correcting immediately what needs to be fixed, and at a really high and sometimes harsh level in terms of the accountability. Having said that, how that's done, that can be demeaning, that can be belittling, or that can actually be challenging, inspiring, and promoting. And so the expectations really and how high they are and we call them extreme are one of the greatest gifts we can give our team and the young people, because really it's a way of saying that we know you're capable of more than you've ever done before, and we want to help you do that. But we also expect you to try really hard to reach that.
Has that changed at all over your 20-plus years that you've been as a head coach in terms of reaching these kids?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I just – even though there was success record-wise throughout most of my career and even early, that doesn't mean I know what I was doing. There just is – I've learned so much as I've just experienced life and raised children and just been seasoned through – the ups and downs and in-betweens of what, happens on the course of any given day. And so I think my perspective has grown. I'm not perfect by any means, but the knowledge, the wisdom, and the consistency of application with really high expectations, that part's remained the same. Maybe just how I go about it is a little bit different.
As the new athletic director at Utah State, how involved were you? How much do you know about Cameron Walker?
Yeah, so there was an extensive process that went on with a search firm, committee here at Utah State, interim president, a panel of coaches that were involved. And really my involvement came right at the end. And I was able to basically sneak away and without really anyone knowing and have a chance in terms of the finalists, that means the true finalists, right at the end to have a chance to address each in person and then provide my feedback. And I feel really good about Cam, the background, the experiences, the breadth and depth and strategy, a legal mind with so many bright spots in terms of strategy and development as well. There's, I think Utah State is in for a real treat with this leader, and I think he's really suited for this landscape at this time with a skill set and a life that's kind of been preparing them for it. So I think we chose really well.
One of the things that I've harped on is that there's certain places that they need to have some local knowledge. You just can't bring in an outsider and expect that man or woman to succeed because they don't really know the lay of the land, so to speak. And, we've seen it now with all the coaches. The three highest ones have all grown up here. They got reputations and heritage in the state. And I'm wondering if you think it's the same thing with the athletic director, because we do know he was born in Idaho and raised, and we do know he coached at or worked at UVU, so he ought to have some level of knowledge of what's going on in the state of Utah.
Yeah, really, really good point. His wife is actually from Heber City as well, and so former baseball player at Ricks College, and a sense of knowledge of the area for sure. To your point, I think it's actually right on. And I've been involved in so many of the search firms and the Zoom calls with committees and hiring processes and et cetera. And to be honest, most just miss and get it wrong. And interesting, it self-perpetuates the business of search firms, right? Because then just someone else gets the next search when it's missed. And I think there's one primary reason, and I'm not saying it's all bad in terms of the process, but I think rarely is the accuracy level what anyone hopes it would be. And I think the primary reason, and in my conversations with the candidates, the primary reason is lack of transparency about what's currently going on at the place. What are the challenges? What are the specific issues that can create, obstacles or blocks, or what's existing personnel that really is either in the way or highlighting what's happening at the place. What does the constituency look like? What's the community look like? What's the level of engagement with alumni? Just all of those things. And so really I spent most of my time with the candidates not really asking questions, but telling them exactly from my perception of arriving in December what it is. And then watching their body language, listening to their comments as to, do they want to take that on? What would they do? How would they do it? And giving them a landscape to see if they're truly the right fit, not for any place, but for this place, which is your point. And I think Utah State needs a very specific type of leader, as do most places.
What kind of specific leader? I think most people are listening thinking Utah State probably needs another, $10 or $20 million because the price of poker is going up, and going to a new league is going to emphasize that. The schools that have less money largely, not completely, but largely aren't making the move. So the price of poker is going up partly just because of inflation every year and partly because of the new league.
Yeah, development's certainly part of it, and Cam has a really strong background in development. So to your point, that had to be acknowledged, who is capable of, the revenue generation and the development. But I would also say, and I think this was the message earlier of local understanding, Cache Valley is an amazing place, and there's a specific type of brand of football here in sports, and the people love, blue collar, and they love hard work, and they love grit, and they love resiliency, and they love a type of young person and a type of team play that resonates. And they also want to have a chance to connect with that leader, meaning there's a level of understanding of the place, of the culture, of the people, of the heritage, of the history, that they're not just being asked to be an ATM machine, but there's a relationship built that is genuine, sincere, and possibly lasting. And so many either presidential hires or athletic director hires, especially in the world of Group of 5 or Group of 6 football, or sports, young leaders have a chance to be there maybe 3 years, and then it's transitional, and there's another leader. And same at the presidential level. And if you're not careful, the identity is lost through 2, 3, or 4 of those moves, and the anchor point, and really the focal point of what an institution is and how it should operate, has been lost over time because of the number of leaders that have been leading.
Bronco, we appreciate the time as always. Vanderbilt next week. Can you give people a quick scouting report?
Oh, man, what an amazing transformation that's happened at Vanderbilt. Their head coach is a good friend of mine. And when he became a head coach at Vanderbilt, I was just stepping away at Virginia, and we spent quite a bit of time together. It's been really fun to see a program maybe consistently over time that's been viewed as maybe not capable to now becoming a top 20 program, a favorite, one that is really transformed. And so really a dynamic team and plays in a league that's exceptional and really has, through strategy, through quarterback play, through coaching, and through culture, emerged as one of the favorites that maybe at one time would never even be considered to have a chance to compete and maybe didn't belong in the league. So really a cool story that's happened there in college athletics.
Thanks a lot, Bronco. Well, good luck with the game. We'll talk to you again next week.
Okay. Thanks, everybody.
There's Bronco Mendenhall. When we come back, we'll hear from Kyle Whittingham. Stay with us. Don't miss your chance to win big every week on The Zone. This week on Win Ticket Wednesday, you can win tickets to Breaking Benjamin and 3 Days Grace live at Utah First Credit Union Amphitheater on September 27th. Tickets are on sale now at livenation.com. Listen to The Zone all day Wednesday for your chance to win. Time now to continue our tour of the coaching press conferences. Here's Kyle Whittingham with the media.
Okay, really impressed with Texas Tech's football team. A lot of talent on that roster, very well coached. Played a really good game against us on Saturday, so give them a ton of credit. We were not real good on offense, needless to say. Didn't score enough points, didn't run the ball well, didn't throw the ball well, didn't convert third downs, and or fourth downs for that matter, and turned the ball over 4 times, which is really the most telling stat. And you can't play a team of that caliber and turn the ball over 4 times and hope to have much of a chance to win. So that was disappointing. We'd been taking care of the football first 3 games very well and moving the ball very well, but just got bogged down, never got into any sort of rhythm on Saturday. And again, a great deal of their credit, and the reason for that is the way they played defense. I was very proud of our defense for 3.5 quarters till we just couldn't finish the way we wanted to. Defense battled some ridiculous field positions. 7 of their 14 possessions started at the plus or the minus 44 or better for Texas Tech, and that's a stress on a defense. And I thought they held up exceptionally well all through it until the very end. And so disappointed in that. I mean, our defense, it takes a lot of pride in what they do, as does our whole football team for that matter. But just got to be better finishers than we were on Saturday. Some bright spots. We punted the ball well, punted it a lot, and we punted it well. And we cut down the penalties. We had a concerted effort to not be as penalized as we were the week before, and we were 2 for 10 yards, so that was a big positive. But other than that, it was a rough day, and again, Tech has done a really good job of assembling that roster and putting it together. And as I mentioned, they're well coached, and they are a really good football team and very deserving of whatever they're ranked this week. And time to move on. We got West Virginia on the road. It's obviously an East Coast road trip, so we'll leave on Thursday, a day early with a 3:30 kick. If it would have been a night kick, we probably would have just gone out Friday, but a little bit crowded when the kickoff's at 3:30. So we'll take off Thursday and get to West Virginia then. And Rich Rodriguez, excellent football coach, known Rich for a lot of years. Really had it going at Arizona there, and really good offensive mind, outstanding offensive mind. And I got no doubt that he's going to get that program where he wants it and where he had it before when he was there last time around. He did an outstanding job. So got to bounce back, like I said. Got to have a great week of practice. 24-hour rule. You lick your wounds for 24 hours, and then it's time to get back after it and put your head down and go to work. So questions?
All right, we'll start with Justin.
Okay.
According to the broadcast team on Saturday, Texas Tech spent half their week during practice teaching how to punch the ball out. Do we teach to safeguard against this practice, and how much time do we allocate to this?
We do definitely teach ball security is what we call it, and we have ball security drills every day. And we also teach stripping the football on defense. That's a staple, one of the things that we've worked on forever. And so we absolutely do it. And if you say, how much time do you spend on it? Probably about 10 or 15 minutes exclusively, and then every drill you do, it encompasses that as well. Anytime you're in team situations or going offense against defense, you're working on protecting the football offensively and stripping it on defense. So, yep.
Kyle, in the last part of the Wyoming game, it seemed like Devon Dampier was limping a little bit. How much was his health, or what was his health like last week, and how much did that impact him against Texas Tech?
Well, he was doing the best he could. Wasn't able to practice Tuesday or Wednesday, a little bit Thursday. I'm going to tell you that it definitely impacted Devon, but if you're out there, you got to get it done, and so we never use that as an excuse.
Creed Whittemore's dressed for the last few games, but he hasn't seen a single snap. What is his status? What does he need to get on the field?
Had a little ball security issue early in the season and through fall camp. He's since corrected that, and so now he just needs to. In this program, you don't play on Saturday unless you get it done in practice. And right now, he has not played at the level he needs to in practice, or I should say, he hasn't played better than the guys that are playing ahead of him. And so, as long as he keeps working hard and continues to improve, then he'll, most likely get a shot somewhere down the line. But nothing is given to you in this program. You got to earn every bit of it.
Kyle, you said after the game that there were moments where that kind of reminded you of last year.
Yeah.
I guess now that you're at this point, how do you, keep this team from spiraling into what happened last year? And are you confident of that not happening?
I'm very confident that this team is not going to allow that to happen. That's just their attitude, their competitiveness. Now, last year's team was competitive too and had a great attitude, but we've got a lot of things going for us. We just had an off day offensively. And again, Texas Tech had a great deal to do with that, as I mentioned. But we've got really good leadership on this team, and we just got to keep people healthy, and that was really the situation last year. And so, assuming that we won't have a run of bad luck like we did then, but we'll be back. Everyone, you play on a Saturday, and 200 teams play, or however many there are, and half of them lose, and you got to be able to handle it and bounce back. And so that's the situation we're in now.
Kyle, looking back on the film, the inability to call the receivers downfield outside of Brian Davis and short throws, more of a separation issue? They're not able to get separation? Was it the Texas Tech coverage, or was it just the game plan that didn't allow for that?
No, it wasn't the game plan, and we did. We hit Benny on the one, and of course got it called back, and so that was one that we had Tobias Merriweather wide open on one and missed the throw. Partially, their coverage, negated a lot of the opportunities as well. They were in good position most of the time. Ryan Davis did, like you said, have another good day with his possession type receptions. He's 10 for 70, so he was productive. But and I've said it before, we've got to be able to do a better job of pushing the ball down the field, and we had some things dialed up, but between the penalty and overthrow and just not connecting on a couple. We also got a PI in our favor on one of the deep shots, and so. But we got to do better at that. That's one of the. If you were to say what is lacking in the offense right now, that's probably at the top of the list.
Kyle, just to follow up on that, in the run game, when you were struggling to run the ball, was that a case of their guys winning one-on-one battles, or are they selling out a little bit to stop the run? They go in +1 in the box.
No, they played primarily split safety looks, which is not a +1 box situation, and so it was more in hindsight. We were running too lateral. We got to get more downhill. We should have run more downhill run game, and not so much side to side. And that's something that in our self-critique was something that was an error on our part.
How do you feel about the team's tackling ability, and how do you kind of clean that up?
Yeah, we had our worst tackling day, 23 missed tackles, which for us is way too many, more than double what we should have. They had some really good backs. I know their top back is out for the season, I guess, but the backs that did play were good and created some of those missed tackles. Also missed some tackles on the quarterback. By the way, I was really impressed with their backup quarterback. He's a heck of a player. We probably wish the starter would have never gone out, but he's a good player too. But the backup came in and really did some damage on us. But that tackling is something that that we pride ourselves on. We work on it every week. This week will be no different. And we were very sloppy in that regard last week. Very sloppy.
Kyle, from last year to this year, there are about 5 fewer attempts over the middle of the field for Devon Dampier. Is that a point of emphasis in the game plan to get the ball more to the sideline than attacking the middle of the field?
No, I don't believe so. Jason has never conversated with me about that and saying, hey, let's stay away from the middle of the field. So no, I don't. It's a good question. I'll ask him. I'll say, what's the deal there? So we'll go from there.
Kyle, you mentioned that Dev didn't practice 2 times last week. Is there any concern that that's going to be long-term, something that will nag at him and just walk him through?
Yeah, we hope not, but again, we never discuss injuries here other than the injury report. So, we'll just have to see how it goes. I think he's in a better place. Well, I know he's in a better place right now on Monday than he was last Monday, so that bodes well.
At times it felt like Texas Tech was, going directly at Nate Ritchie due to, poor tackling and stuff that he had. He had team-high 6 missed tackles. Mm-hmm. How do you think that he needs to improve now that he will be, seeing a lot more increased reps with Rabbit out?
Well, he's got to come to balance better. He's getting back, what we call sitting in the chair. He's back on his heels a little bit, so he's got to be better with his body position and balance. Also got to keep his head up, and that's a product of your arms. When your arms go out, your head drops, and so there's a few things technically there that we can help him clean up. And the positive is he's all around the ball. He's always around the ball. I don't know if you can say they were going at him directly, but he's so instinctive and has such a good feel for the position that he studies film, as well as anybody we've ever had. So that's going to, and by virtue of the nature of his position, like I said, the safeties are big time tacklers in our scheme, especially the strong safety. So, but there is some things technically, like I just mentioned, that we can help him with, and that seem to be have made his tackling not as efficient as it should be.
Obviously had a lot of different players contribute in the run game, especially with Wayshawn and Perry splitting reps essentially. Is there any consideration moving forward of making one of those guys that, or is it what's kind of your thought process?
Yeah, I would like to see that play out where we have a lead back, but right now through the first 4 games, this hasn't been a ton of separation. Nakari's maybe a little bit better in short yardage, more efficient, and Wayshawn's a little more of a home run back, able to rip off the big run. But they're both good football players. But ideally, it would be nice to have one come to the forefront and become RB1. But as long as we're getting the production. But in the last game, we did not get the production. The overall production was nowhere near. We barely rushed for 100 yards, and I think 25 or 30 of those yards were on those last 3 or 4 garbage snaps inside of 2 minutes. So in competitive situation, we only rushed for about 70 yards, which is it's tough to win. It's really tough to win doing that.
West Virginia's coming off a blowout loss. They've had some ups and then cuts and downs. What do you see from them? They're going to be fired up, obviously.
Yeah, they will. I've never been to Morgantown, but I understand it's a great place to play, and they get great crowds. I guess it holds about 60, and they're getting close to that. Rich Rod is a really good offensive coach. He's got great schemes. They've had a little bit of musical chairs with the quarterbacks. They played 3 of them in the Kansas game, and so I think that they're still not quite settled on the quarterback. And then their top back didn't play against Kansas last week. The big kid, number 2, I think it is. And so, but he's we faced him plenty of times. Not only at Arizona, when he was at Michigan, and so we know what he brings to the table offensively, and we're gonna have our hands full. And like you said, they'll be fired up, and they're coming off a loss like us, and when you're coming off a loss, you're hungry, and so we're gonna get their best shot.
Kansas won that game pretty definitively. It was 41-10. Where did they really take it to West Virginia, and is there something that you can do to do the same thing and copy that to West Virginia?
Well, I've only studied West Virginia's offense to this point. Tonight's the night I delve into their, into the defense, and so I'll have a better answer for you tomorrow if you want to ask that same question. But I know that defensively, West Virginia wants that 3-3-5. They're a high pressure outfit, over 50% pressure, and so I don't know if they just beat some of their blitzes or what. But I've spent the last 36 hours focusing on West Virginia offense.
Kyle, Devon has talked a lot about understanding the value of this program to the community here. Can you talk to sort of his mindset and your belief in him in terms of addressing some of the issues in the passing game, specifically this week?
Yeah, well, believe in him completely, and he's without a doubt our quarterback, and can't panic off one game that was not up to par. And again, we already talked about another reason why that may have been, but he's a guy that really is tuned in. He's got a great awareness. He understands that Utah football's got a pretty good reputation here in this town, and we get great support from our community, and that's a motivating factor to lay it on the line for him and play our best football. But I don't think one subpar game it's fair to judge him off that. The first 3 games he was pretty darn good.
Jason, here'll be a final question.
Kyle, you mentioned after the game that you were surprised that you guys lost at the line of scrimmage. Now, you watched the tape. Have you been able to pinpoint anything that went wrong that you can fix?
Excuse me, yeah. It was what I mentioned, running sideways too much. We as coaches should have done a better job of giving our guys the opportunity to come off the ball and run downhill more. That definitely would have helped our cause in our estimation.
There's Kyle Whittingham. When we come back, we'll hear from Kalani Sitake. Stay with us. Good morning, DJ and PK. It's 97.5 The Zone. Time now to hear from Kalani Sitake. Complete the trio. We've already heard from Bronco and Kyle. Here's Kalani talking about his Cougars on The Zone.
On to the next game. I'm really excited about the result from last week, obviously, and obviously I spoke after the game that there's things that we can improve on. Looking forward to getting that done this week. Obviously, we practiced today in our meetings and lift, so. I thought the guys, for the experience of being on the road for the first time, was good, and now we're heading out to Boulder, Colorado. That's going to be a fun trip for us, and starting Big 12 game. So our season in the conference. So we're 1/4 through the season. Looking forward to the next one, and excited about the matchup. Really happy with the way the guys, the leaders, everyone approached the game going back east. And again, I think you've heard me say this before, but really thankful for all the fans that were there, the support that we received. It was awesome, and really good to see the Blue out there cheering for us, and hope those fans know that how much we appreciate them and for them making the trip to come visit us. Now with this week, looking forward to the matchup against Colorado and Coach Prime and the group. And I think Coach Prime would tell you that, our relationship, I have tons of respect and admiration for him and what he's done as a coach and as a father and as a disciple of Christ. And so really excited about the matchup. Obviously, we saw each other in the bowl game, but this is a different matchup. Every year is different and every week's different. So, we're a different team than back in the Alamo Bowl, and they're a different team as well. See on film that they have tons of talent. We're at their place now, so it's going to be a difficult environment to play in. But looking forward to the matchup and looking forward to seeing my friend Coach Prime again. I think he'll say the same statement that I love him to life. And so really excited about the matchup, excited about the opportunity that we're in right now, going into conference play, and excited about our team and the progress that we're making. Hopefully we can, give our best shot when we get out there Saturday night. So what questions do you guys have for me?
Our first question will be from John Kuhn.
Kalani, you look at what LJ Martin has done to start this season. He's just the second BYU player to start the year with 3 straight 100-yard games. And a lot of those yards are hard-fought yards. Like, it takes multiple tacklers to bring him down at the end of a run. From your perspective, what has LJ done to take his game up another level this season from the already high level he was running at?
Well, LJ's always been a team guy. That's the main thing. And it's never been about him and his numbers and his carries. He's going to do all the little things right, even when the ball is not in his hands. And this year, he's elevated his leadership role as a captain. That's the one thing that I think has really set him apart from everything else. That the players, they take on his personality and his leadership skills. They followed it. I mean, they see the importance that it is for him, and they follow what he does as an example. Maybe not the most outspoken guy, but he's not afraid to talk. But man, his example, if you just work as hard as he does, it will be fine. And so And then he's not really worried about the numbers. He only cares about the team. And I think, those first 2 games he could have been out there and demanded the ball more, but I think he understands what we're trying to accomplish and understands that we need to, keep working on some depth and getting other guys a chance too. So he's a complete back, and I'm glad that he's a leader and a captain for us.
All right, next question will be from Jay Drew.
Yeah, 2 questions from me, Kalani. First, Evan Johnson, what do you recall as far as his recruitment? It seems like he's only had 1 offer and that was you guys, as far as a Power 4 offer. But does that speak to kind of the development program that you guys have become? And just what can you tell us about getting Evan to the program?
Well, I mean, in the recruiting process, the really impressed with his family, with his mom and dad, and the way they raised him. I think we could see the potential there with the speed. I mean, he's one of the fastest guys out of California the year that he came out as a senior. So we knew he had tons of speed, and we knew he had a lot of ability and athleticism. So all we had to do was give him a chance to play in a system that was going to highlight his skills. And so as he started doing that, we've been able to see him thrive in the system that Jay has, and I think the sky's the limit for him. He is such a great player, and he's a lot of fun to be around. And so, it makes sense that he's going to make plays, and I'm glad that he took advantage of the opportunities that he had Saturday night.
And then on the 12 men on the field call that erased the pick by Tanner Wall, did the officials not let Logan have the opportunity to get off the field there? Was that called correctly after review?
I don't think it was, but there's going to be a discrepancy because East Carolina subbed twice. They had a first sub earlier, and then we subbed with that, and then they had a second later sub, and then we subbed with that. But the question was that our guys had too much indecision on who was coming out, and so according to the rules, you're supposed to give us time to even. It's not like everybody has the decision to when to come out. We're actually trying to match their sub, and they didn't think we matched it fast enough. And so that was the argument that I had with the refs, is that you have to give us time to match the sub, just like they did with the first substitution. But it's okay. We just have to be more decisive when we sub people in, even though you're supposed to be given the timing to do that. But we try to do everything we can and within the rules. And if we didn't do it good enough, then that's on our fault. And I was just trying to complain to the rest because I was trying to understand the timing. How long are we supposed to know? How do they know? How do they dictate when the decision has been made or not? And so that's okay. It's a good learning experience for all of us. It just happens to take away a turnover from Tanner when he made such a great play. And so, if they would have gained 20 yards, I probably would have been not as upset. So there's a human part in that too with me. So I mean, it's because we didn't get the play. It's okay. I just got to do a better job, making sure the guys understand to make more clear decisions on who's on and off and who's supposed to be in there when we do our substitutions.
Next question from Jay Catch.
Kalani, Jay Catch, KSL Sports Zone in Salt Lake City. Just wanted to ask you, in terms of I guess I could call it a rematch against Colorado, how much carryover do you think there can be from that bowl game into this matchup?
There's always some carryover, but the players aren't the same on both sides, so and then you're always trying to find ways to get you a competitive advantage. So that's the fun part in the game and the prep during the week, is that we don't know exactly what they're going to do. We have an idea, but they don't know exactly what we're going to do too. So you have to kind of prep for all of it, and then you have to make adjustments and see what happens in the game on Saturday night. So it's what we have to do every week, and it just happens that we played these guys in a bowl game, and now we see them, for us, game 4. So now this one's on the road, and we just got to be ready for it. So I don't think it's anything different than what we've already experienced already, and that goes the same for them.
they've had some quarterback roulette this season, Caden Salter, Ryan Staub, Juju Lewis. Are you going to have to prepare for all three, or do you feel like you've figured out if it's going to be Salter for sure?
No, I mean, until they tell us for sure what they're going to go with, I think we have to assume that they can play all three. And so, yeah, that's part of the being prepared for all of them. And all three that we've seen on film can play. They can throw the ball, and they're very talented. And the talented O-line. I mean, this is a really talented team, and so it's not going to be an easy game to go in there and play And I mean, I'm sure they remember the bowl game. I'm sure they want some payback, but it's a different year, different mindset, and I'm just happy with the way we're playing. We just got to go in there and make sure that we do our part. I can't control what they do, but we can control what we do, and we can control all the things that we've made mistakes on from the last weekend and even the two games before that. So we just need to be a lot cleaner, more disciplined. We had too many penalties, all that stuff that we can control. That's what I got to focus on as a head coach and make sure that we don't make those mistakes again.
Next question from Mitch Harper.
Kalani, after your review of the film against East Carolina, what was working so well for Bear Bachmeier in that second half? What kind of led to his success from your vantage point reviewing the film?
Well, I think he was making great decisions before. He just wasn't connecting on all the plays. I started with play one. However it was, between him and Parker, that should have been a completion. But you just keep playing, and you keep taking advantage of your opportunities that come down. I mean, you forget about that play. It's a play-to-play type of deal. You have to forget about it and keep moving on. And he did a great job at that, moving on from when he could have had a throwaway, could have had a play. And I was just really pleased with everything that he's done from the audibles, the checks that he made, getting the guys out of the huddle. And I thought he did a great job, and he seemed to grow up quite a bit from the first play to the second half, and I think that was really good for us to see him do that. And I'm excited about what he can do. He's highly intelligent, has great football IQ, great leader. He's tough, and things are starting to click for him. So we just need to make sure to keep that momentum going.
Next question from Kyle Ireland.
Kalani, your first 2 years as a Big 12 conference member were impacted by conference realignment, with you guys obviously coming into the league, teams leaving after that first season, and then new programs coming in last year. What does it do for your coaching staff as far as your preparation this year to be able to have some stability as far as the membership is concerned? You guys are seeing, teams in multiple seasons consecutively now.
Yeah, I mean, they're all well-coached teams, so it's not like and being only third year in it, it's not like you have a understanding of every team in the conference, but because they're common opponents, you can see it, a lot of them on film. And even though you rotate playing some here and there, eventually you'll get more familiar with the coaches than it is with the players, because the conference schedule will change quite a bit year to year. But it's just a lot of fun being in this conference, man. I enjoy it. I enjoy the coaches that are in it, the place that we play at, and the opponents that come to our home here in Provo and LaVell Edwards Stadium. And so it feels really good when we went from an independent team to now being part of an amazing conference. So I'm just enjoying the ride and enjoying being part of and being affiliated with this conference. It's an honor for us to be here, and really cool to be in these environments. And I mean, to go to Colorado and play there is going to be an amazing experience for our players and our fans, and to have that is going to be really cool. So everything is we're just enjoying every part of it.
Next question from Sean Walker.
Hey, Coach, I just wanted to ask you about Carson Ryan, because we've talked about him a decent amount during the offseason, and it seems like he was expected to play a pretty big role in this offense, but his role through 3 games has been maybe even bigger than the 2 touchdowns he scored. Just what is it about his game where he's kind of proving to be, I think he's pretty close to an every down tight end for you guys?
No, he's a complete tight end. He's been a complete tight end ever since I remember him playing at a young age, and he's he can do so many things. He's versatile. He can block. He can catch. He's big. I mean, he's a great leader. He's bought into whatever we ask him to do, and I don't think anybody works harder than he does in practice. He sweats more than anyone I know, and that usually means he's working really hard. And then he has an amazing mustache game. So when you combine all those things, I mean, it just makes sense that you should be a great tight end to BYU.
Next question from Brandon Gurney.
Yeah, Kalani, well, one of the stats you probably aren't too fond of were the 10 penalties for 101 yards. How much of that was a result of just being on the road for the first time, and how are you addressing that this week?
Well, all of them are different types of penalties, so we have to look at the ones that I think sometimes the ones that happen during the gameplay is different than the ones that are false starts and things like that, mental mistakes. So we can control the ones that are, the holding penalties, even within the game. We can control it, just kind of move your feet a little bit more, and then the substitution one, that's on me. If we're looking at the other penalties, they're kind of in the like the so we had a taunting and sportsmanlike. That's not us. Can't have that, and can't cost a team. And so those are easy adjustments to be made. Has nothing to do whether you're home or on the road. It just has to do with your mentality and playing smart and playing with a good mindset, not getting angry at some of the things that are being said on the field, just keeping it about the team first. And so, these guys are learning it. Fortunately for us, they didn't hurt us too much. They did hurt some of the drives, some of the holding penalties, things like that, but just got to be more disciplined. That's my job as a coach, is teach these young men to be more disciplined and play with a great mindset. It's okay to be physical. It's okay to talk back and forth too, but if that's going to throw you off your game. Then if that's going to throw you off the game, then just shut up and play football. But they're young, they're learning. I got to do a better job and make sure that we're not getting 10 penalties. That's hard to have that many penalties. It's hard to make up the difference when those could kill drives and take points off the board.
Next question from Kevin Reynolds.
Hey, Kalani, after the game on Saturday, Harvey Unga tweeted about something about stealing signs. I was just curious if you thought that East Carolina was stealing signs in 2022, and was that something you prepared for going into this game of trying to protect that?
I don't know much about about Harvey's thing, but you just say that it's teams can do whatever they want. When we can huddle and we do a lot of different things too, but not going to worry about it. You have to just play the game. Eventually, it's going to be the guys on the field that play the game. So I just rather us not talk about stuff and just play the game.
Next question from Mitch Harper.
Last year, Kalani, you guys were just outside the Big 12 championship with the tiebreaker. You were close, but didn't get to your ultimate goal. What lessons have maybe you learned from last year's that you can carry over into this season as you begin Big 12 play this week?
Yeah, we just control what we control. Stay humble, work hard, and don't talk. Just keep working. I mean, we're not here campaigning for things. We got to control what we control. And that's the things that I got to do as a head coach. And I mean, there's a lot of momentum and a lot of buzz going on, but just got to play football and we got to be humble. We got to work hard. And the only statements that we can make have to be on the field. That's pretty much what I'm trying to keep the guys focused on. Last year, all that stuff, it doesn't really matter. Let's focus on this week and let's get better. Let's get better from last week to this week and see what happens on Saturday night.
Our last question will be from Jake Hatch.
Yeah, Kalani, you talked about your relationship with Coach Prime and how you guys have struck up this relationship. How did that come about, I guess, originally?
Well, I'm a big Deion Sanders fan. That's how it came about, and seeing the way he played football and all the things that he did and then a lot of people that I knew that kind of crossed paths with him. Tom Homo, Brian Mitchell was a great teammate of his. They said all these wonderful things about him. And so being a fan and then being able to meet him and talk with him. And it's not just him, it's his staff. They have some amazing people on that staff and amazing young men on that team. And so just being around them all, for that time that we were at the bowl game just confirmed that there's a lot of really good people there and highly competitive people. They want to win. But when you get to know I think we get to know all the competitive parts of an opponent. It's sometimes nice to get to know the human element and see that they're loving people too, but when it gets time to play the game, I know that they'll be really competitive, and so will we. But there's some of the things I learned from Lavelle is to definitely respect your opponent and always try to find ways to connect with people. And so I'm trying to do that, and I'm really thankful for the relationship that I have with a lot of coaches, and all the coaches in this conference. And I'm excited about the relationship that I have with Dion and what he's been able to do. Coach Prime's done a great job as a leader, and so I'm always trying to connect with people. If anything, the head coaches at other programs know what I'm going through. So there's a lot of common ground there. And when we are able to talk, before the game and even after the game, I just hope that they know how much I appreciate and respect them.
There's Kalani Sitake. When we come back, what is trending? The headlines are next.
It's time to get your morning started with the news you need to know.
News update.
News update. This is what's trending with DJ and PK. Hashtag NFL.
Goff out of the gun. Montgomery to his right. Jared's got it back and looking, throwing right side. Once Amon-Ra. End zone. Got it. Touchdown, Detroit Lions. What a delivery that time by Goff, where only Amon-Ra with those late hands could pull it in. And the Lions are an extra point away from drawing even once again here in Baltimore. Goff up under center. Turns, gives. Amon-Ra flips it out to Gibbs. He's in the house, baby. Touchdown, Detroit Lions. Oh, that is beautiful. Goff hands it to Amon-Ra. Amon-Ra flips it to Gibbs, and the Lions have got the lead back. Goff takes, turns, gives to Montgomery. Two hands on that football. There he goes over the right side. 25, 20, cuts to the right at the 15, down to the 10, down to the 5, to the end zone. Touchdown, Detroit Lions. Demo to the house, 31 yards, and the Lions have put this game on ice.
The Detroit Lions beat the Baltimore Ravens 38-30. Detroit running the ball. 224 yards on the ground. Baltimore used to play defense and have a strong running game. They did not have a strong running game. They ran for less than 100 yards. The defense, they gave up 41 points to Buffalo, gave up 38 to Detroit. But now they can throw the ball. It's like a new personality for the Ravens.
How many sacks were there that took away from that running yardage?
What was the sack yardage?
Well, in the NFL, sack yardage comes out of your passing.
It does, yeah. In college, it comes out of the running game, but not in the pros. There were a lot of sacks, though.
It just seemed like
every time he dropped back, there were Lions dropping back with him. 7 sacks.
It did, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, it just seemed like, man, they were getting in the backfield so much that Lamar Jackson really couldn't get set, and the play seemed like it was broken up so much before it even had the opportunity to begin. And I mean, Lamar Jackson can only do so much under those situations.
Yeah, I thought he was really good throwing the ball, especially given everything you said. But he's still 288 yards, completed, I think, over 75% of his passes. So that was impressive. But Derrick Henry, 3 straight weeks with a fumble. That was a good shot of him throwing the helmet under the bench on the sideline, the frustration level. But that goes back to your point, too. That was because Hutchinson was in the backfield, and then the play goes up the middle, so he's coming from the blind side and punching the ball out while Henry's looking, at 2 linebackers that are trying to bring him down. So even then, they're upfield again.
The offensive linemen, they did not have gap integrity.
There it is.
You got to get a hat on a hat.
They did not do that. So now the Lions improved to 2-1, but the Ravens dropped to 1-2, and they will play the 1-2 Chiefs next week. 2 teams that have been having a lot of success off to poor starts, and somebody's going to fall to 1-3. The injuries piling up. The 49ers lose Nick Bosa, torn ACL, right knee. He's done for the year. Niners are 6-12 all time when he's missed games due to injury, and obviously he's going to miss 14 games. Not a good sign. No. Pass rush goes away, team starts losing. Chargers confirmed Najee Harris is out for the season with the Achilles tendon injury. And the Cardinals, James Conner, undergoing foot surgery, not his ankle as initially thought, but he's out the rest of the year as well. CeeDee Lamb, injured reserve, high ankle sprain against the Bears. He'll be out a minimum of 4 games. So, Adjust your fantasy rosters accordingly. There you go. Deion Sanders expressing his belief that his son Shadur will start for the Cleveland Browns this season. On the Kelsey Brothers New Heights podcast, Coach Prime said he told Shadur to be patient and be ready. You got to be ready when it's time, but when it's time, you're going to know, and it's coming up.
It's Coach Sanders, it's Deion, it's Sanders, but our show is not going with Coach Prime.
I got a prediction. I ain't telling anybody. I got a feeling when it's going to go down, but it's going to go down this year. He's going to get a shot.
I think he should just stop with that. That's over there. You're the coach of Colorado. Just worry about that.
And let your kid do whatever, and don't cast a long shadow.
Just let that play out as it plays out. He's not there every day. He's not coaching. He's not watching film. He has no idea. I realize he's a dad, but and I've always said anybody who coaches their son, they're a dad first, they're a coach second. And I've seen it a million times over. That's why I advise against it, especially at the higher levels. Unless you're at the lower levels, if your kid is just dominant, then nobody can complain. But I don't see any positives of him talking about his kids at the professional level anymore.
DJ and PK.
Hashtag college football.
I mean, I was suited up all week last week. My availability was never in question. But, I mean, yeah, just now it's on West Virginia. Let's go attack it.
That's Devon Dampier on his health status. Kyle Whittingham at his press conference confirming that Dampier didn't practice Tuesday and Wednesday and partially available
I
Thursday.
thought we don't talk about injuries.
I know, and nonetheless, there it was.
Well, why didn't you call him out on it? You were there. I wasn't there.
He eventually did call himself out on it in his answer. We don't talk about injuries.
But you just did.
He did.
Did you say, well, you just did?
No. I did not have the microphone. Nor
Raise
do I
your
want
hand.
Nor do I. Oh, I did. Trust me.
Trust you?
Yes.
Wow, now you rip Utah for their lack of media availability, and now you're ripping them for not calling on you?
No, they called on me twice.
Well, then,
but you don't get it right then. As you know, there's a half dozen or more people raising their hand.
Then go to the seventh person. Then you can say it. I thought you said you didn't talk about injuries.
I want him to talk about injuries. I'm not going to confront him about talking about injuries.
That's not. I didn't ask you if you wanted do you want him to talk about injuries?
I do.
He said fine. But that's irrelevant to the point. He says he doesn't talk about injuries, but yet he talked about injuries for Dampier, and that made it imply he wasn't healthy. That's why we lost. Not sure that's the way to go.
The ACC, that's one of our questions. We will get to that. We've got a whole segment planned for that coming up later this morning.
You better believe I do. And I'm going to do the majority of the talking, apparently.
The ACC announced that the league will move to a 9-game conference schedule after meetings in Charlotte, North Carolina, joining the other Power 4 leagues. Unity in the college football scheduling community. As part of the model, they're going to be required to play 10 Power 4 games. It's taken more than a decade, but it looks like everybody's lining up here, PK. 9 conference games, 10 Power 4 games. Seeing that across the sport. Didn't know if we'd live to see the day, but here it is.
Yeah, I mean, you can't have, until they go an NFL model where if everyone has the same opportunities going in, and even they have different schedules.
Yep.
Here, as you were saying yesterday, who was it? TCU doesn't play Iowa State and somebody else you're saying. So it's
now TCU plays Iowa State. They don't play Texas Tech or Utah.
Yeah, okay. The scheduling can be so funky with so many teams. You'd have to see who they're playing and how it works out.
The SEC is going to a 9-game schedule. They're going to have 3 fixed opponents, and then the other 6 games will rotate through the league.
What are they, dogs?
Fixed. Nice. They'll play the 3 teams identified as their rivals. Sometimes that's a better fit than others. They'll play those teams 4 years in a row, and they'll play the other teams twice in a 4-year
Don't forget to get your SEC team sprayed and neutered.
That was fairly random, but good work. Oklahoma State coach Mike Gundy said he had no interest in considering this his final season in charge of the Cowboys, telling reporters he 100% intends to be at OSU beyond this season after his team was beaten by Tulsa Friday and speculation began. I'm under contract here for, I think, 3.5 years. When I was hired to take this job, ever since that day, I put my heart and soul into this, and I'll continue to do that until at some point, if I say I don't want to do it, or if somebody else says we don't want you to do it.
Yeah, I think that the latter is the key there.
Yes, the latter seems like the more likely scenario right now.
Yeah.
UCF offensive line coach Sean Clark passed away yesterday at the age of 50. He had been hospitalized after experiencing a medical emergency September 9th. Former head coach at Appalachian State. 50. Way young.
Don't take it for granted, man.
Right. DJ and PK.
Hashtag NBA.
Houston Rockets starting point guard Fred VanVleet has a torn ACL and will likely miss the entire season. Suffered the injury in a recent offseason workout. That leaves a hole in the Rockets lineup right there. They added Kevin Durant. A lot of hope, a lot of hype, but they're going to be missing Fred VanVleet now.
Yeah, he has built an outstanding career for himself. What was it, Wichita State? Is that where he went? And undrafted, if I remember correctly. Mm-hmm. And, yeah, has found a role over there in Toronto. And then for Houston, which is all in, pushing their chips in. You know, they've been building. But when you get a 37, 38-year-old Durant, whatever he is right in that age, I think he's 37, you're trying to win right now. And VanVleet, obviously a veteran guy. So, yeah, I think that's a major blow.
Coming off a 52-win season last year. Super high hopes, but now they got to figure out how to do it without him. Miami Heat guard Tyler Hero underwent foot surgery. He's going to miss about 8 weeks. And Steve Nash joining the Suns organization as a senior advisor. Of course, he was a 2-time MVP. He was the man in Phoenix there in the early 2000s.
That's a fact.
DJ and PK.
Hashtag college basketball.
I told myself that when I got to the point where I could not give it my all, where I wasn't necessarily 100%, where I couldn't be the relentless competitor that you expected of me, that it was going to be time. And as hard as it is to say this, I reached the realization that it's time for me to step aside.
Auburn head coach Bruce Pearl announcing he was retiring yesterday with some dramatic music there behind him.
I like it.
Ending his 11-year run. Auburn's been to the Final Four. He's had some good times there in Auburn. His son, Steven, will take over as head coach on a 5-year deal.
Well, do it late, so they have to give it to your son. They can't.
Exactly. Too late to go to get somebody else. Got to keep it in-house.
We'll see how that works. I mean, I have no idea. Pearl was a figure. And I know you're going to say no, but did you see what Wilbon said about him?
Wilbon said something about, I did see it. He said that...
divisive, and I hope he was pressured?
Yes. And Kornheiser's just like, I liked him. He's a good guest. We're on different sides of the fence. And then Wilbon sat there and scowled at the camera. Till they went to video for whatever the next story was.
Divisive, and I hope he was pressured because he had politics that I didn't like.
I'd assumed that what it was.
Well, there's nothing else to assume.
I know. I Googled it to see if there was a quote or something that I could pull up.
Sure,
I didn't see the quote.
He espoused conservative views. I mean, there's a few guys over there that might have been considered divisive on and on and on and on and on and on and on, and I never heard a word. Not looking for PTI for my politics. But Bruce Pearl, yes. I had the opportunity to work out with him in the Santa Clara Marriott many years ago. And even back then, when he was coaching for Milwaukee.
Before he went to the SEC. Because he was at Tennessee, too, for Auburn. Yeah. So he's on his way up.
Yeah. And I was on my way down. I had already peaked.
You had?
In my legendary non-distinguished career. Yes. And so I think BYU was up there at Cable Car Classic or something. So we were up there for several days. And so I worked out with him a couple of times, just in the hotel gym. And even then, man, he was a charismatic...
Was he chatting you up in the gym?
Oh, yeah. It was just two of us. Yeah. You've been in hotel workout rooms.
Yeah, but sometimes people just do their own thing.
That's not who he is.
Not him. He's got to engage. He did that thing at a Tennessee women's game. He was shirtless and painted orange with the student section.
Jumping up and down.
I think Pat Summitt was still coaching at that point. And she was just laughing, shaking her head.
How could you not?
I can't believe you did that.
He was an entertainer along with being a college coach, and he won and all that stuff. And I think he had some NCAA problems at Tennessee or something along those lines. But he certainly was that. Who's the golfer from Fiji? What's his name?
Vijay Singh?
Yeah. And I had the opportunity to work out with him in the Marriott when they would play in Vegas. And he had a personal trainer, and it was 7 o'clock in the morning, and it's just the three of us. And every time I even just hinted to move my head 1 degree to look at what they were doing, that trainer would just look at me and snarl, you stay away from us. You don't get within 10 feet of us. Do you understand me? He didn't say it, but that was
But
what
the
he was
body
saying.
language?
Oh, my gosh.
The body
yeah.
language was peak John Stockton. There was a cone of privacy around you.
You don't come in this circle.
Like, dude, at this point, I'm 25-year media member. And I'm a golfer, so I'm just seeing what does a professional golfer, what does his workout do that I could implement that might be able to, I'll never be.
And you're across the room, and you don't want to talk to him, and nonetheless, you're getting the glare.
Oh, yeah. He would, every time I'd stop and look to see they're doing something that, I mean, it's obviously a golf-centered
It's a golf-related,
workout.
right. What muscle group are you working? How are you stretching or lifting?
And he's going to play that day because it's Saturday morning.
Yeah, and Vijay Singh was really good, so he probably made the cut.
Yeah, right, yeah.
He was really good.
Yeah, but that guy, the glare he gave, and I wasn't going to say a word.
Yeah.
Because,
right.
No, I know how you.
No, I know how you are in public. Yeah, but you'd be curious.
And Bruce Pearl practically invited me out for dinner. I mean, he was so gregarious and so warm and so friendly, and I had no clue who Bruce Pearl was at that time. And since, obviously, I followed him from a distance.
DJ and PK.
Hashtag Major League Baseball.
The sellout crowd once again on its feet here at Petco. First pitch, Fermin swings, lines it into center field. That'll do it. Freddie Fermin walks it off as Bryce Johnson scores, and the Padres are headed back to the playoffs in 2025.
Padres beat the Brewers 5-4 in 11 innings. Coming from behind a couple times, down 3-1, down 4-3 in extra innings. They get a run in the 10th and a run in the 11th, so they are in as they beat the Milwaukee Brewers. Fourth time in 6 years. Only 3 games. Cardinals beat the Giants 6-5. That was a wild game going back and forth. And the Braves beat the Nationals 11-5.
It always fascinates me how in other sports, if you make the playoffs, great, especially when you know you're going to make it. But in baseball, when you know, and clearly they've known for weeks they were going to be in, but yet there's still a big celebration. It's the only sport that does that.
Yeah, that's not really an NBA thing, is it?
No. Not for a team that is known for weeks.
Right. They've been sitting in playoff position. This isn't, Cleveland or Seattle putting together a huge run.
Yeah, it's funny how that is. And the bottom one here, that MLB, well, you read it. You do it. You do a better job than me.
Major League Baseball owners voted unanimously Monday to approve the sale of the Tampa Bay Rays to a group headed by real estate developer Patrick Zalupski, who plans to keep them in the Tampa-St. Pete area. I think it had gotten to the point with the previous ownership group, there were toxic relationships. That might be a tad dramatic, but I don't think they wanted to help him build a stadium. Now, presumably, a new face, a new voice, maybe a new financial agreement. Maybe that makes the stadium more likely.
Well, when I seen this, as they say up here.
You're going to relate this to baseball on the Wasatch Front.
The Baseball Network on my satellite this morning with Eduardo Perez and that other guy, Steve Phillips, and they were discussing expansion big time.
Mm-hmm.
And both of them mentioned first, actually.
Salt Lake City.
Yeah. I think it's given that Nashville's in.
Yeah.
Because that
there's a little
is
pushback.
Like the hot place to be.
There's a little pushback against Nashville, but not enough to stop it from happening.
No, I haven't read any pushback, but obviously you have. Yeah. And so they were pumping up, and Eduardo says, "Oh, don't forget Salt Lake City." It's funny because Phillips had just mentioned Salt Lake City, and then Eduardo said, "Don't forget." Well, he did mention it, but they were talking about that at length, and it just seems like the Mo is there. Now there's other teams or other cities, I should say, too. So you never know until you know. In this case.
But all the people who you think would have inside information all point at Salt Lake.
Yeah, and they were talking about expansion fees being $2 billion. Oh.
Hey-o.
Wow.
Big pile of cash right there.
Yeah, that's just amazing. Yeah, if they do this, if the Millers pull this off, this will be, I think, even with the Jazz. Maybe you consider they weren't a big-time city then, so it was a little bit more risque.
Point is, it'll be a
seismic
move, nonetheless.
Yeah, right, because we have AAA, obviously, but having MLB and then all the stuff that goes with it, because nobody just builds a stadium anymore these days. It's all this other stuff.
You're going to build a neighborhood.
Entertainment districts, and they can really change the complexion of your city for sure. So, oh, man, and it gets me excited just thinking about it. I know it's several years away. I hope I'm still around, probably not working then, I understand that, but at least being able to partake of it as a community member, because I think that would be just awesome.
The only pushback I've heard on Nashville is that their organizations, the Braves at the forefront, maybe the Cardinals a little bit too, that draw a lot of fans from Nashville and aren't super excited to have a team there. But it looks like it's going to happen despite those objections.
But I think baseball is a sport that it's okay on that way, because I think so many people go to the games to just hang out on a summer night.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you get in the playoff, that's another story.
Right.
But I'm talking about just
the number of people,
night
the number of people we know who go on a vacation and then take in a Major League Baseball game between two random teams.
Yeah.
They're just hanging out. They don't know the teams. They don't care about the teams. They don't it's lots of people are checking off ballpark bucket list. You're doing it.
I am.
I got family members doing it. It's a very common thing. Even the people who aren't way into it are like, well, I've been to half of them. There's no plan to get to the other half, but you're still like, yeah, I've seen half of them. And you're just kind of cruising the games when you're on a trip.
God willing, I'll get there.
There you go. How far away are you?
I think the closest one is like 8 hours away.
You've done everything that's nearby.
Yeah,
but how many? I was thinking number of stadiums.
Oh, you said how far away I was. I think
how far away are you from
8
completing?
hours
6
from
stadiums.
Colorado, 10. Well, it'll be 6 hours away from Vegas.
That a kid.
I think I need 4.
Okay. DJ and PK.
Looking forward to it.
Hashtag NHL.
Utah Mammoth beaten 6-1 by the Anaheim Ducks in NHL preseason action. Dylan Gunther tallying the lone goal for the Mammoth in the loss. Next preseason game Thursday night in Las Vegas. Got to play on the road. They're still over there building stuff at the Delta Center. Lengthen the building season by keeping the team on the road.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Traveling. I heard they traveled day of again, which they did going to Colorado.
They've done. Yeah. Last preseason was the same thing. A lot of day of travel.
Yeah, I know, right. Just get there. What is Trending is brought to you by Shamrock Plumbing. There's no job too big or too small. Get the personal touch with Shamrock Plumbing. Frank Dolce, former U quarterback, will be here at 8 o'clock. Chris Anderson, publisher of Ear Sports, covering West Virginia, is going to join us at 9 o'clock. DJ and PK, it's 97.5 The Zone. The question of the day, hot takes or toast, coming up next.
It's game week for the Utes, and the KSL Sports Zone is getting you ready for kickoff. The Utes head back east for their first Big 12 road game of the season as they get set for a showdown with West Virginia. Listen all week long for the best coverage of Utah football. Then catch college football Saturday game day at 10 a.m. with the postgame show immediately following the game on KSLSports.com.
Let's go then. Let's go, baby.
Your home for the best coverage of Utah football is live on air, online, and on the KSL Sports app. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
We hope not, but again, we never discuss injuries here other than the injury report, so we'll just have to see how it goes. I think he's in a better place. Well, I know he's in a better place right now on Monday than he was last Monday, so that bodes well.
There is Kyle Whittingham talking about Devon Dampier. Not 100% for the game with Texas Tech. Missed 2 practices.
I'm surprised he went there. Now, I know he answered the question, and I respect him answering the question, but I am surprised he went there.
Agreed. I was surprised when I heard it.
Because it does, for a guy that I respect enormously, and everybody knows that, it does come off a little bit like that's why we lost.
Okay, I can see you making that case. I mean, I personally didn't go there because I didn't think that was why they lost. I thought the offensive line got beaten.
Nobody went there. But I'm saying no one.
It could come off that way.
Yeah. No one is going to go there. And I'm surprised he brought that up. I thought he would have said, we don't discuss injuries here, right off the bat, instead of saying he didn't practice essentially for 3 days. And that just gave all sorts of agita to Ute fans. It's like, again?
Again with QB injuries.
And then it leads to, well, especially in that game, because the other team's quarterback got knocked out.
And their second stringer came in and looked great.
And you haven't had a second-string quarterback, let alone a first-string quarterback, for 3 years. Go get people who can play the position.
Pay them money. Do whatever it takes. So if your first guy goes out, that you can bring in a Will Hammond.
And light it up.
Right.
3 straight touchdowns with the game on the line.
Especially in that game where I would have just said, yeah, no comment. We don't talk about injuries. That's our policy. We'll put it on the thing if the kid is unavailable to play. But saying that he didn't practice basically for 3 times, which is that's the nucleus of your practicing. Monday's light, you work out, you lift weights. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday are the practices. Friday's light, and then it's game. So just awful memories of Cam Rising, because I spoke to Ute fans yesterday, and I mean, it's just anecdotal. You're just speaking to a few. I understand that. But it's like...
But nonetheless, it confirms your gut instinct.
Yeah, he's a little dude. He runs the ball a lot. This is what we're going to have the whole season? And if you are, then get another guy in there who can play.
The fan base comes down on both sides of that issue. You just said literally consecutive comments here. Jason, what difference would it make? Just whatever. They lost. They got beat. They got beat so many different ways in that game. Jason doesn't seem to care at all.
No, it wouldn't have changed the outcome.
Meanwhile, Leroy, why is it that every time a Ute quarterback has a bad day, he's suddenly injured?
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
And then get backups who can play, man. Fine.
There's the bigger question.
Get somebody. Yeah. I mean, what's going on with Wilson? He's not playing. You're putting in the Ficklin kid. He's getting nothing going on here. He's just standing over there. I would think he'd be gone after this season. I mean, he wanted to leave last year. And
you're speaking of Wilson, not Ficklin, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Ficklin wasn't on the team. I said, what's going on with Wilson? They're not playing him. They're putting in the Birdman for some garbage time. You don't have a backup that can come in. Why does Texas Tech have a backup and you don't?
There it is. The question looms.
I think it was a bad look, and I don't think he intended it by any stretch. But you can, and I think he speaks from the heart, and I respect him greatly for that. But the fans take it, and we take it as we do. You can say whatever you want, but you can't control how other people take it. And I think in that circumstance, that was it the last play in Wyoming? Was he playing with an injury then? Because if it wasn't just the last play in Wyoming, then whatever the reasons were that he didn't practice on Tuesday and Wednesday and most of Thursday, it had to occur in the Wyoming game, right? Why didn't you take him out then?
And that's what Fox Sports on their broadcast Saturday said he got injured against Wyoming.
Was it the last play, the last series?
They didn't clarify.
Right.
That.
So if it wasn't, they still played him, and he was still effective.
But they're not as good.
But right. That's what it boils down to.
They don't have the size. They don't have the D linemen. They don't have
when did he get hurt in? By answering it honestly, which it's hard for me to criticize when they answer honestly, because we'd rather have them answer honestly rather than give us some cliche, and he did. And so I realize I'm sort of talking out of both sides of my mouth here too, because I want him to answer honestly. But at the same time, I just think what's the word? Not the look of it. There's a word that's escaping me. The look of it, the appearance of it, it doesn't look good.
You threw out a scapegoat.
Yeah, I didn't take it that way in the moment, but I do get why people take it that way. I mean, in the moment, I was like, wow, he just talked about injuries. That's cool.
Well, it also got them apparently in some conversations with the conference, because there was a statement put out last night.
That was the thing I wondered when I saw you put this up, thinking about this, is like, is this injury report going to be a legitimate thing? Like NFL teams, if they get caught manipulating it, they get fined. And it happens occasionally. There's been some back and forth. And I think Belichick one year.
Yeah, hi, Bill Belichick.
Yeah, they got fined. And so then he was mad. So he put 27 guys on the injured list or whatever. Anybody who had a hangnail was on the list.
Yeah, I don't really care about that.
Yeah.
Whatever. I mean, your guy is not available. And so you surprise the team for one play. And then they know he's available. And these guys, they spend all summer scouting the opponents. I told you, I listened to McGuire on the college network saying he had people who checks what the other people are doing. So they scoured the internet. I think
looking for any tidbit.
Yeah, and so when they start saying, "Oh, that Bert Flickland man, he looks good,"
Ben McGuire knows.
Yeah. And so all that, I don't really care about this injury report and this and that. You can ham and egg it all you want. When the game was in the air, ball's in the air, none of that stuff matters. So Utah had no idea about Will Hammond. They had no clue. He caught them completely off guard. Because if that were the case, then every team would do it. Switch quarterbacks. Because they don't know anything about this guy, and they can't defend him because he's an absolute 100% mystery. It's like if the missions were so beneficial to the programs, Florida State would have their kids go stand them over on the side for 2 years.
Let's gray shirt everybody for 2 years.
Right.
If it were that big an advantage.
Right. It's all that stuff is a bunch of nonsense. And so I don't buy it. It's hard for me to believe that Will Hammond caught everybody by surprise. Oh my gosh, who's this kid? He's a redshirt freshman. He played a little bit.
He did. He played 3 or 4 games.
And they know who he is.
In the offseason,
yeah.
They have encyclopedic knowledge of recruiting,
right,
of high school stars, and they got people looking at the tape of every game.
The injury report, that's your mark trying to say, oh, look at us, we're progressive. The SEC doesn't do it, so we're going to do it. Aren't we cool? I get it. The guy is image conscious. He needs to be image conscious. He told us on the air he weighs himself every day. Well, good for you. I was going to ask him. I saw him at the game. What are you floating at today? I mean, who cares? You're so disciplined. I get it. Wow. It's all look at us so we can make more money. That's the whole thing. And I can keep my job and make millions and all the perks that I get that go with it. So I never thought it was going to be realistic anyway. So I don't care about that. I think it's a bad look at this time to say your guy coming off probably the worst game he's ever played in college. They say, well, he didn't practice. Okay. So, I mean, they should be able to roll Virginia or West Virginia, I should say. But when they get to BYU, well, and suppose BYU stuffs him. First question, did he practice that week? Well, if he practiced that week.
Why did this happen?
Yeah. Because the implication is, well, he didn't practice, so that's why you can draw the straight line. And do you really want to do that? And then if he's so freaking ineffective, which he was, and it's related to injury, then get him out.
Well, that's what isn't clear. Was it related to injury, or was it just Tech's better?
Well, I think Tech was better on Saturday. Yeah. I don't think there's any question on that. And then you wonder, why have you just under-recruited so long at quarterback for so many years?
Now in the NIL era, pay someone to stay put.
Yeah.
Do it. What do you got to lose?
Right. Pay the backup more.
And I guess the answer to that is, well, we don't have enough NIL money to go around. We're busy investing in starters, would be the argument that some schools would make. Other schools have the money.
Yeah, but the position is too important.
The position is critical.
Yes.
The position is, you can have a really good team, but if you're caught short there, you're going to end up losing big games.
Yeah.
You just are.
Right.
Somebody else is going to be pretty good at all the other spots too, but they're going to have better quarterback play. And you can leverage that for so many things during the course of a game.
Yeah. The optics is the word I was looking for.
Oh, optics instead of appearances. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought about 2 minutes later. Optics is what we were.
I never thought of it.
You thought of it?
Yeah, well, you'd moved on at that point, so I'm not going to circle it back.
Yeah. No, it was going to bug me for the rest of the day.
the optics of the situation, yeah.
Yeah. Right. I was coming up with skeptics. I knew it was icks. And I was saying, well, what's that? I'd get to it. I got to it. We're good to go. Now, hey, the kid's going to be fine. The kid's a gamer. I'll give him that. And I still think they're going to be fine. Tech got him. They whooped him. It's one game. The season is far from over. There's so much more to be played. And I think when we get to November, they're going to be in contention. Maybe I'm wrong. Won't be the first time. Maybe the second or third.
But if you had them losing 1, 2, or 3 games, and we haven't been besieged by people who thought they were going undefeated, and if you look at the way things are shaking out right now, Tech, TCU, Iowa State are being projected as the best teams. You can look at the ratings. Mm-hmm. They've lost to one. They don't play the other 2. So there ought to still be a lot of winnable games out there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Now, if they lose to West Virginia, big red flags.
Oh, yeah.
Big red flags going up. Yeah. But West Virginia bye week, and then there's a couple of these games, ASU and BYU. Because I've gone to these places that, it's my weakness, that rank them 1 through 136. That rank like CBS and the Athletic.
I live in dark places.
Rank them 1 through 136. And you look at it like, so the Utes have now lost to Team 12, but they haven't played anybody who's better than Team 70. So are they somewhere between like Team 20 and Team 60? Who are they? Well, they'll play a bunch of teams in that range eventually. But right now, if you take these lists seriously, it's totally predictable. And actually, it's the same for BYU, with East Carolina. And the teams they're playing this week are a little better. I think they're like 57 and 60.
So where are the Utes?
In Colorado and West Virginia. In the Utes, and one of them I just saw they were like 27, I think, and BYU was 33.
Okay.
And they don't
even
comment.
With the loss?
Yeah, with the loss.
That's respect.
Right. But Iowa State is also 12. So, you're weighing in like,
sure.
Hey,
they should be there.
Right. And there was actually, when you get down that low, they don't comment on every team. They comment, there's a group of teams, and then they comment on a few of them. And they didn't comment on the Utes, but there was a comment on BYU. I think this was in the Athletic. And on BYU, it was, they haven't played anybody, still waiting for the test to find out how good these guys really are or aren't.
Fair.
Just big old question marks. So
fair. Yeah. I mean, they both scheduled ex-Pac-12 teams, and they suck this year. What are you going to do?
Right.
They could have been good, and they could have had a test already. It just didn't work out that way. But I'm not going to judge the season on Texas Tech, and I'm not going to judge Devon Dampier on Texas Tech and make final judgments. We're going to judge. We judge every week. We judge practically every play, every quarter. So we're going to do that for sure. But none of them are going to be, the book is written, close it, and move on. No, absolutely not. Because they got, and I don't even think they got whooped. I think the game got out of hand a little bit. I mean, deep in the third quarter, it was 13-10. And that drive that Hammond led them on was awesome. That put it at 20-10. It seemed like once it got to be 20-10, if it were a boxing match, they would have called it.
It did feel like that watching the game on TV.
Right.
I assume, and then you apparently felt the same thing in the stadium.
I think all the fans did. Everybody did.
It was a struggle for the Utes to move the ball, but they made it a one-score game. Maybe you can get a drive. Maybe you can get a play. But when they went down the field and got 20, it's like, well, they're not going to get 2 drives.
Right, because it's a 2-score deal. It's not going to happen here. And so I know they scored a couple touchdowns after that. And those touchdowns count. If I'm Texas Tech, man,
just keep going.
And you have to, because this is a committee.
Style points matter.
Yeah.
Also, that freshman quarterback hasn't played a lot. Every rep matters. We hear that. That's basically a coaching cliche at this point.
Right.
So he got the rep. So, I mean, Utah scored late against Wyoming. It's not that big a deal. And also, it wasn't humiliating territory. If that happens in a game where, it's 49, it turns into a 56-point game.
Well, they weren't doing trick plays.
Right.
You run your offense. The kid deserves an opportunity to play, as do the other players who were in there.
It was not only a 3-point game, it was a 3-point game in the fourth quarter. They scored with 10 minutes to go, 10:22. So 10 minutes left in the game. It was a 3-point game.
Okay, take my fact and build upon it. I'm okay with it.
DJ and PK, it's 97.5 The Zone. Frank Dolce, more on the Utes coming up at 8 o'clock. But there's another question looming out there that we need to get to. We will get to this next. Stay with us.
It's game week for the Aggies, and the KSL Sports Zone is getting you ready for kickoff. Bronco, Mendenhall, and the Aggies are back in SEC country as they battle Vanderbilt in Nashville. Listen all week long for the best coverage of Aggie football. Then catch all the play-by-play action beginning with the Aggie pregame show this Saturday morning at 9:30 on 1280 The Zone. Your exclusive home for Aggie football is live on air, online, and on the KSL Sports app. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Artist of the day, Bruce Springsteen. He's 75 today. Brought to you by Live Nation. For all the live concerts and events in 2025, check out livenation.com. Question up on our Facebook page. Why does Colorado insist we call Deion Sanders Coach Prime? And Timothy says, well, I think Prime is who he has always been known as. No, that's at least his third nickname. There might be more.
What were the others?
Jason correctly points out he was Neon Deion for years. Yes, I remember him being called Neon Deion. And then he was called Prime Time. And then eventually that evolves into the shorter Prime.
Well, okay, you can call him that, but in the release that they put out, Coach Prime's media availability.
That seems a little weird.
What the crap is that?
Prime seems pretty hip and cutting edge, and Coach, I don't know, it doesn't feel like it goes
I'm
together.
okay with, hey, what up, Prime? Give me bones. You know, I'm okay with that. But in their release, like, Coach Prime's media schedule, I don't force anybody to call me PK.
They just do.
Yeah. And it's been like that since I've been about 15. Okay, fine. It rolls off the tongue. It's an easy thing. And then, fortunately for you, you got super lucky that your initials rhymed with mine.
Pretty
First
wild.
and second.
Pretty wild when people figured that out. That was crazy.
And then you said, you made two conscious decisions. You went up to Rice Eccles and said, I can make money and get out of the studio at soccer, and I can make money and get in the studio with PK. And those are both brilliant decisions.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Nobody ever said you make bad decisions.
Travis says, I made bad decisions. Those don't
not when it comes to cash.
Those don't happen to be two of them.
Not when it comes to cash.
There's another bad one.
I mean,
I
think you should have gone in full steam on the kolaches, but that's your call.
Hey, you want to buy a share of that? How much? How much you got?
And see, he knows what side of the tracks I'm on because I'm sitting in the room. And I might as well have been dead or not in the room.
He never made eye contact in that discussion.
You go to the money man.
He was
paycheck is why I live in Utah.
You go to the money man.
Johnny was locked in on me.
Right, because he knew where the money was. Don't come in. What's that guy?
He had the fishing pole, he had the hook, he had the bait.
You saved the school $600,000?
$600,000.
He's driving a Pinto with a huge crash on the side that he couldn't afford to repair.
Travis says it's marketing. That I agree with. He's always gone by the name Prime. No, he hasn't.
See,
no, he hasn't.
It's too much marketing. I want football. I want to win. I want to be developed. I don't want to be engulfed in celebrity. I don't want cameras all around all the time. I want Whittingham. That's what I want.
I would say that
I want Mendenhall.
When you're around Deion Sanders, a.k.a. Primetime, a.k.a. Neon Deion, a.k.a. Coach Prime, you are going to be engulfed by celebrity. To me, it's like, why push so hard on the name? Like, you can't make him maybe you could. I don't think you can make him a bigger celebrity. He is a massive celebrity. And people are like, oh, why is Colorado always on TV?
And that's fine.
Because they played Delaware and more than 2 million people watched. It's phenomenal.
Those
love
games
the
don't
Mud get
Hens.
that kind of eyes. It's not those guys.
Oh, but I still love the Mud Hens.
I thought it was the Toledo Mud Hens. Is it the Delaware Mud Hens?
I think it might be their minor league team.
Oh, okay. Mud Hens are everywhere.
But that's okay if you're winning at the highest level. But when you're topping out, and they had a good season last year, but if that's your top point relative to all the attention, that's not good enough.
Well, relative to all the attention, he's got to be in the national title game, and the attention attention's phenomenal. Conference title game and out in the semis. PK, the amount of attention he gets
but
just...
it was last year, though. I think that was singular.
The attention or the success?
The attention. The attention peaked last year.
It was huge. The Heisman Trophy winner was on the roster.
And your son.
And they were 7-2, tied for first place.
Right.
Even though they didn't win the tiebreaker.
Yeah, right. They had a good season.
They did. They had a really good season.
Yeah.
Light years from where they were when he took over.
You don't throw back what they were able to accomplish. But I still think that was the peak of the attention. And I want to get away from the attention, and I want to get into, I think kids today are so sophisticated. It's like I've said with NBA players. I don't want to hear that, oh, I ain't going to go live in Salt Lake City. I can't get down at 2 o'clock in the morning. That's an insult to the player and what the player is about. And I started to go along the line, it might even be racist. Because you're saying that's what a certain group of people, that's what they're interested in. They're not serious about their craft, as they call it in basketball. I disagree. They are serious. They want to be as productive and developed as they possibly can. And if that means I can go get it out here, they're coming out here. And I think it's the same deal with the young man and young woman that are going into. They're so much more advanced now, and the possibilities are there to really have a brand. We're seeing it in the WNBA left and right. And it's awesome for these young gals to have this. They have brands now that they can cash in. Well, the way they're going to have the brand is not through the nonsense. It's going to be through the excellence. And excellence only comes through hard work. And I think that stuff is going to get in the way. Coach Prime, the celebrity of the Coach Prime angle, could potentially get in the way of them being successful as a football program. Your reaction?
The celebrity could get in the way.
Yes.
I don't think so, because he does a good job of stopping. Like, his celebrity is on social media, the epic walking down the field. But that was in March. Like, during the game, he is meat and potatoes locked in on the game.
Yeah, but there's nothing else to do at that time. It's not doing now.
You could make a scene. You could be
no.
Rich Rod's out there making scenes, and is that a distraction? Does that wind the team up when he's not composed? Are they composed?
And West Virginia had their best years when he was the coach.
They did.
That's why they brought him back, because he won.
Yep.
And they haven't won to that
but
level since he's been gone.
Composed on the sideline during games, so I would expect his team. It reflects. A long time ago, there was an Aztec coach who paced nervously, and that team blew a bunch of leads.
And they weren't good enough.
They weren't good enough.
If he would have stood there in a mummy outfit, they weren't going to win.
They might have won some of them. They blew some 20-point leads.
Because he stalked the sidelines?
I don't like it. I never had confidence in him.
If that's what took, because they didn't win. If that won, you would have thought that's the greatest thing ever.
I never thought it was going to win. And then it didn't. Anyway, how would Deion's celebrity get in the way? Give me a specific example of what you're thinking.
All the
Maybe
attention,
I'm just not thinking
the cameras, him talking about his son in Cleveland. Who gives a crap? You're in the middle of the season here. You already got a conference loss. You got a second loss on your resume here. You need to be worried about winning games. Don't be worried about Coach Prime. Worry about the Jimmies and Joes.
DJ PK, Frank Dolce, talking Utes next. Stay with us. Enjoy the Spanish Fork Wings and Wheels Air Show this Saturday. Over 15 World War II aircraft will be on display. Many will offer rides or walkthroughs. It's this Saturday from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m.
That sounds really cool. Yeah, we'll be down there Friday.
Broadcasting live. DJ PK, we're joined now by Frank Dolce, former Ute quarterback. Frank, good morning.
Good morning, guys.
Frank, what happened? Where did it all go wrong? I lean towards, and I know there are a lot of things that went wrong. I think the most surprising thing to me was they were running the ball on first down and getting 2 yards. And that was just bad down and distance. I thought the O-line would be better than that. Maybe it'd be intermittent back and forth. Sometimes, sometimes you can run it, sometimes you can't. But I was surprised how often they lost the line of scrimmage. But maybe that's not the thing that got you the most. Maybe it was the turnovers. Maybe it was something else.
No, the inability to run the ball. I think that was, we talked about it last week. That was my biggest concern is if Utah couldn't run the ball, if Utah can't run the ball effectively, are they going to be able to pressure a defense through the air? And I came out of that game thinking, whatever we thought about Utah offensively, and maybe some on the defensive side, but mostly on the offensive side, whatever we thought about Utah, we were probably not correct. And so maybe Texas Tech is, as talented as they seemed on Saturday. I think that's part of it. I think they've done a really nice job of going out and finding really talented guys, and the coaching job has done a great job, or coaching staff has done a great job of putting that talent together. So I think that's part of it, is that Texas Tech is good, but the other part of it is Utah didn't rise to the level, and maybe they aren't quite what we thought they were, and maybe it's just they need to evolve a little bit. I've gone through the whole gamut of maybe this is this is a soul searching moment for Utah. Is this a get back into the office and it's a brand new scrap what we're doing, rethink what we're doing, reevaluate everything, or is it just a matter of you need to tweak a few things here and there? Typically, that's where I land. Is you just need to tweak a couple things here and there. But the way Utah was dominated at the line of scrimmage, Utah's offense was dominated at the line of scrimmage, and the way that Utah's running game obviously, and then no pressure in the passing game, it feels more drastic than you have to tweak a few things to get it right.
One of the things that I always find astounding is that things work, right? You're struggling, and something works. And why not stick with it? And where I'm going with this, the last possession of the first half, right? They go to the hurry-up offense, and they go right down the field. They probably could have had an opportunity to punch it in for a touchdown, but they're up against the clock, so obviously they had to settle for the field goal, and it worked. It reminded me of Brian Johnson, the way he would run that 2-minute offense. He was an expert at it, and they would do so well in those situations. And then why not try it in the second half, third quarter? Why go back to what you were doing, which just spent almost 2 quarters showing us that it wasn't working?
It's a really good question. I'm sure that a lot of the inefficiency for Utah offensively is coming back to what was Coach Beck doing. What were the adjustments that he was making? Was he making adjustments? And why, like you said, why did that work at the end of the first half, and why wasn't that part of the game plan in the second half? And maybe it was. I mean, sometimes it's hard to tell, and Texas Tech certainly made some adjustments as well. But that's what I mean, is it feels like there's a more drastic evaluation that needs to take place with this football team. And now you've had your real first test of the season, and what can Utah do offensively to respond to that based on the talent they have available? So I just don't know that. I mean, I think Utah still has to figure out how to try to establish the run game. I mean, that still has to be the foundation of the offense, and maybe they can do that in other ways, or just take the stuff that was really effective and build on that. But the biggest concern to me is Utah's going to have to be able to keep defenses off balance with the passing game. And based on what we saw Saturday, the ability to throw the ball downfield is lacking at the moment. And maybe it was just an off day. I'm hoping it was just an off day, but it feels like the ability to throw the ball downfield is going to be really difficult. And if that's the case, then how can you pressure in the passing game? There's lots of things that you can do, and it's partly what you were talking about is this, short intermediate routes. Get the ball out of Dampier's hands quickly. Get it to one of your athletes as soon as possible. Let those guys go make a play. Effectively use the passing game as an extension of your run game. And then maybe you don't have to necessarily throw the ball downfield to pressure a defense. Maybe you can do it occasionally just to keep them off balance. But certainly adjustments on the offensive side need to be made. And that just naturally starts with the coaching staff and with Coach Beck and how he's going to manage the offense moving forward.
You can make big plays and get that chunk yardage without throwing the ball 40 yards downfield in the air, which clearly does not seem to be their strength after 4 games. We really haven't seen anything to suggest that would be a strength. But, for instance, the big play in the fourth quarter on the touchdown drive, you hit Dallin Bentley kind of medium depth, and he takes off, and now you got a 44-yard play. How many of the skill players do you think can do that? Because we really don't seem to be seeing that out of the running game. We really haven't seen it much out of the receiving game, but maybe there's somebody you believe will do it eventually, or will do it if they get the ball at the right time in the right place.
I think one thing Utah has on the offensive side that is challenging for a defense is, okay, maybe they don't have one guy that you say is, oh, this is the guy that's a game breaker. But they have probably half a dozen, maybe more. I would say more than half a dozen guys who have been productive in the passing game that a defense will have to worry about. That includes Smith Snowden. That includes Lander Barton, and 2 or 3 tight ends, a few wide receivers, maybe not game breakers, but guys who have more than enough talent and who have made plays already this season. And so the ability to spread the ball around and create mismatches on the defensive side, I think that could be a strength for Utah, especially in the passing game. And getting guys involved more out of the backfield. I'm not sure we saw that much on Saturday, or maybe it was just taken away, but getting guys more involved in the passing game out of the backfield, I think those guys are pretty talented. So the depth of resource, it could be a strength for Utah if they are able to utilize that effectively.
I think they have an opportunity here to get themselves well quickly because West Virginia is rebuilding, obviously. They got smoked by Kansas the other day. So you'd have to think if Utah wins. If they lose that game, then you're just start from ground zero, right? I can't even entertain them losing. I don't want that under any stretch. So they go back there, they win. Then they got a bye. Then they got ASU home, and then they go to BYU. I think they can get themselves right fairly quickly, and that they can look at it and say, and it's all about spin and the mental adjustments and the attitude and everything and the confidence level. Yeah, well, Dampier was a little banged up, but we didn't play well. Okay, that happens from time to time. But here we are. We recovered in the bye. We went to West Virginia, recovered in the bye week, got ASU. Maybe they're not cracked up to what we thought. And then you got the rivalry game where your guess is as good as anybody. And so they could be fine from this. I can see a way out fairly quickly is where I'm going with this.
Yeah, I can see that too. I do think, I said earlier, it's a soul-searching moment. There is part of me that feels like it's kind of a scrap whatever you were doing and reevaluate everything. I think there's some of that probably should be happening. But the truth is, if Utah gets good at the offensive line in the next week, then lots of other things fall into place. So that's where you have to start. Like the offensive line that was so highly touted coming out of camp and in the first couple weeks, that was that was not a passing grade on Saturday for the offensive line. And they have to that position group has to be much better. I would say about Dampier, he was under duress. I know that he was trying to get something going. He was trying to be the leader on the field for his team. But in all of that and under that sort of pressure, he just made some really bad decisions with the football, which led to, a lot of turnovers. And that is to me, that is the biggest thing that needs to be corrected. Okay, so maybe your offense isn't being completely effective, and I know you're trying to make a play, but sometimes you just, you have to throw it into the cheap seats and get rid of the ball and just, even if that leads to a punt or something. But But to put your defense on the field so regularly in difficult situations, obviously that didn't turn out. And I think you could see like the Utah defensively, who played so well for 3/4 of the game, just wore down.
Right.
And then you had, I mean, I don't know, is there an emerging superstar on the Texas Tech roster? I mean, that quarterback came in, and I don't know how you take him out of the starting lineup after a performance like that.
Ooh, Frank. Oh.
I'm actually with you, Frank. The starter Morton underthrew 2 deep balls. He should have had a touchdown and should have another big play. Instead, he had 2 picks. And then
I'm telling you, there's a quarterback controversy in Lubbock right now.
There you go.
Oh man,
start it up, Frank.
If you start it up, it never stops.
Listen,
thank you.
I'm going to say one. Speaking of quarterback controversies, I don't think there's a quarterback controversy at Utah.
But is there a quarterback?
But I think there's. But that's a very good question. Thank you. You finished it for me. Like,
and we're done. Let's just sit here quietly and enjoy the brilliance of that comment.
Yes. I think that just there probably should be some reps for other guys and see what that might look like. And I'm not saying make a drastic change right now, but
Frank, you're advocating way more change than I expect. I view Utah as steady as she goes. They win, they lose. Kyle does what Kyle does.
I drew a line when he said that Kyle should step down.
I'll never say that. I'll never say that. But look, you're exactly right, DJ. Like I'm a like make a few tweaks here and there. Like that's how you.
Okay, well that's fine. I'm fine with that, but no wholesale changes.
But typically I'm like that.
Okay.
I feel slightly differently after that performance against Texas Tech. I think it was just so overwhelmingly not what we expected of Utah, or not what we expect of Utah, that you really have to reevaluate.
Was Kyle right? And he's said it multiple times, and usually when he says stuff like this, he's spot on. This is the best O-line, and we've seen a lot of good O-lines. This is his best O-line. So I'm thinking that, well, Texas Tech has multiple NFL guys on their D-line. It didn't go your way. Maybe they were more amped up, whatever, blah, blah. But I just have a hard time believing that O-line isn't going to perform a lot better in multiple games going forward, including the next one. Now, I think to PK's point, the whole season pivots on ASU and BYU. If you get swept there, it's over. If you sweep there, wow, Colorado, Cincinnati, you can see a path to 8-1.
Right.
And then in November, you're playing huge games in November.
Right.
Right? And if they split, it's like, well, you might get in on a 2-loss tiebreaker, but you got to be perfect from here on out. So that all makes sense to me. I just can't believe the O-line is going to be picking up 2 yards on 1st and 10 the rest of the season. That doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, I think you may be right in that it's too much on. Well, Utah was bad. Utah was really bad, and they weren't. They weren't good.
Those scouts were there for a reason.
But maybe we should be thinking more about, well, maybe Texas Tech is that good, especially on the defensive front. Like they managed that. They managed the defensive line extremely well. Like there was zero push at the line of scrimmage, and I think we've seen that Utah offensive line perform better. So I align with that. Like maybe we're just not giving. We're too negative on what Utah did, and not positive enough on what Texas Tech did. And so we'll see how that unfolds. But regardless, that is the position group that has to lead the recovery this week. And if that position group is good, everything else kind of falls into place, I think, for Utah.
Yeah, I can see that. And, I really believe in Dampier's leadership qualities. And I know he's been doubted a time or two. So now we get to see what he's got and that type of thing. So I think overall, I'm not even close to cashing in on these guys. No,
I'm not either. But in terms of where we've seen Utah over the years, to me this feels like I don't know. Maybe there's more of a sense of urgency, I guess, about getting back and really determining what you're doing well, what needs to be fixed, can it be fixed, and all of those things, because it was just such an interesting, dominating effort by Texas Tech, when I think we had really high hopes about what Utah could be, especially on the offensive side.
Yeah. Frank, we appreciate it as always. You're the man, and we'll talk to you again next week.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Go Utes.
There you go. Frank Dolce, former Utah quarterback, joined us weekly here on The Zone. Chris Anderson, publisher of the Year Sports covering West Virginia, will talk about the other side of Saturday's matchup. That's coming up at the top of the hour right here on The Zone.
It's game week for the Cougars, and the KSL Sports Zone is getting you ready for kickoff. It's the Big 12 opener for BYU as they hit the road for a rematch with Coach Prime and the Colorado Buffaloes. Listen all week long for the best coverage of Cougar football. Then catch college football Saturday game day at 10 a.m. with a postgame show immediately following the game on KSLSports.com. Your home for the best coverage of BYU football is live on air, online, and on the KSL Sports app. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Join Hans and Scotty tomorrow for the Cougar Preview Show, brought to you by Beehive Meals. DJ PK, it's 97.5, The Zone. Frank just brought up big changes for the Utes. You really think that? Or that just sounds like an overreaction, and that's just not how Kyle does things?
I don't think it's necessary. Let's not go crazy here. This is the classic, it wasn't as good as you thought, nor is it as bad as you think. This is a perfect example.
So stay the course.
Yeah. Well, you're always seeking to get better, obviously, and each week presents new opportunities to make changes and improvements. And so I would go along those lines, yes. You're going to have to play to his strengths, speaking of Dampier. And he's not a pocket passer. So you knew that, right? It needs to be wide open. His best attribute is succeeding when he creates havoc.
Nice.
Right. And so they need to get him in a situation where he can create havoc. And if he's creating havoc, then he can matriculate down the field.
There we go.
What do you mean, there we go? I try to raise my level of intelligence here, and you mock me.
You drop the old Hank Stram, matriculate your way down the field. An NFL Films classic from yesteryear.
I try my best to raise my level of game with you. You know, you're a big UC student. I wasn't. So I'm trying here, do the best I can. I never put my hand in the dirt, hat on hat.
You were at the Walter P. Cronkite School of Journalism, very high end. You've told us many times.
I have gap integrity, but it doesn't mean what you think it means.
Hey, now.
When you take it wrong.
Okay. I think in the spirit it was intended.
I don't know anything about football. I never played the game.
I'm intrigued by your thought that, hey, go back to the 2-minute offense. Don't be afraid if you just start, if you hand off on first down in West Virginia and you run for 6 yards, well, you just keep handing off until they stop you.
Yes.
But the thought that the best drive of the first half was the one where they went hurry up or tempo.
Yeah, they look good.
So give it another shot. You wouldn't think that is the first option for this offense, but if it's the one that's working, they prepared for something else. Maybe they didn't prepare as much on this. It caught them off guard, whatever it is.
I think it's important that you don't show panic from the coaching staff. And, you know, you were talking about Luganville
Years
wearing
ago.
out the sidelines, grimacing, sweating.
Yeah.
It's like the Sean Miller thing for Arizona.
Yes.
I mean,
I see the
gripping
parallel.
on the sidelines.
That doesn't
We're in the
help.
NCAA tournament, man, Arizona, except for that one time. Oh, my gosh, and the expectations. We got all these blue hairs who spend thousands of dollars. And they wrap themselves in a ball where they can't perform, right? And they were always so tight. And you knew the loss was coming. It just didn't know when. And it was another bitter disappointment. So you don't want to do that. And you gotta stay the course, because if you don't stay the course, then the course was a failure, and that sends the message to the players. And this is across the board. Hey, what we thought was right wasn't. So now we're in panic situation. So you better panic too. And then you don't know what to believe. And Whittingham has built a 20-year, 2-decade-plus program on stability. And this is what we do. And this is how we do it. And so let's keep that in mind. And I think that's the situation here. Just you still only have one loss. And it's just the problem here is everybody had a doubt on Dampier because of the fact that he wasn't a traditional stay in the pocket. He wasn't even like a rising kind of guy. He was this wildcat, scat back running guy who had success against lower levels. And what's it going to be here? And you faced a higher level team. So basically, you won 5 ball games last year against suspect competition, and then you won 3 ball games this year against suspect competition. And when you got in good competition, you're 0-1. And that's what everybody's thinking. So that's why. And you look so putrid doing it. If you lose 27-24 or 31-27, hey, them's the breaks. You know what I mean? It happens, right? A ball gets tipped. Any number of things. Several years back, Washington Pettis returns the punt, right? What are you going to do?
Yep.
But that's not the complexion of the game. It didn't work that way at all. You got smoked, and you got stuffed. I don't think you got stuffed as much defensively, because I do think when it was 20-10, it was kind of, and they caught you a couple times. But offensively, you sucked. There's no other way around it. So it looks bad. But the great thing about sports, and in life in general, man, most of the time, redemption is right around the corner.
Beat West Virginia, get a bye week, and the world could look different with ASU coming in.
Right. And ASU, they've got a bye too, but if they lose this week, all sorts of doubt. And they're playing TCU, who some regard as the best team in the conference, right?
Yeah.
And they needed everything to beat Baylor. I mean, their red zone offense sucks. It is just awful. And people will say, oh, Scataboo. Yeah, I get it. But I have read some ASU stat nerd said they're actually rushing for more yards. But that's not what Scataboo gave you exclusively.
Scataboo finished drives and provided a jolt of adrenaline.
He was the heart and soul of the team. You're not going to necessarily lose his on-field production, although you can, but there's other ways to make up for it, right? Next man up type of thing is literal. But the heart and soul,
right. When he makes
that's gone.
When he makes that flying, diving, one-handed catch on 4th down against the Utes, it's totally disheartening for the team that gives that up, in this case Utah, and it completely fires up the Devils.
Right.
And it got to the point where they went into the huddle in a tough situation and thought, I don't know what Cam's going to do, but
we got him.
It's going to be okay. Yeah, we got him. Right. It's going to be okay.
Right. He's in the Texas game, he throws a touchdown pass. He catches one big gain that they needed when they were mounting their comeback. Everything that was good about that program and team last year, he was right at the center, and he's gone. And the production isn't what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the soul of the team, and he's gone. So you've got this opportunity to win the next 2 ball games, and then you're sitting there at 2-1. The rivalry game is always crazy anyway. You can play it in the middle of January, you can play it in the middle of August, and it doesn't matter. It's crazy. So that was always, if you were undefeated, that was always going to be crazy, right?
It's a given.
So we'll see what happens there. But then the schedule gets lighter. So get back to what you know you can do and just do it, man. It's so simple as to say. And I do think when we get to November, I would say 2 losses tops in conference, which obviously would be 2 losses overall. If they got 3, they're still going to have a decent season, but it's not going to be. And the problem is everybody takes blame for it. Kids hear everything now. Nothing gets past them. And you got Randy Cross. Utah's a 3 seed. You got Matt Leinart. Freaking Devon Dampier. He's Kyler Murray. All Kyler Murray did was win the Heisman and was the number 1 pick. Right? You got Urban Meyer. Utah. Yeah, they're going to dominate. The Fox crew came on the campus and spent 2 days telling us how great they were. And Kyle gets another ring, blah, 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 blah. And then they go off to wherever they go off. And they leave all the residue in the pizza boxes behind them.
And start pumping up 2 more teams.
Right. That was malfeasance by Fox. And Urban Meyer again leaves us in a lurch, or is it lurch? What is it?
It's a
lurch? Yeah, he leaves us in a lurch. He and Shelley come riding in on a white horse yet again, and then boom, just like it was 20 years ago, they're gone as the taillights fade into the dark. Once again, it's happened.
What is happening?
It's an old Elton John song.
Apparently.
Yeah. Let me tell you, I was thinking Old Dominion.
Okay.
But yeah, that's what happened here.
That is heading for
and now
Spain.
guys like me who care deeply, I'm left to pick up the pieces.
DJ and PK, it's 97.5 The Zone. We can't top that. We better go to break. Malfeasance.
I say.
Chris Anderson, publisher of Ear Sports, talking about the Mountaineers. He's coming up at the top of the hour here in The Zone.
Nominate the youth sports volunteer that you know for the Hercules Hero of the Week. Submit your nomination at kslsports.com/contest. And listen every Thursday afternoon to JJ and Alex for the winner. Help us celebrate the efforts of those volunteers making an impact with the Hercules Hero of the Week. And it's sponsored by Hercules First Federal Credit Union and Beehive Meals.
DJ PK, it's 97.5 The Zone.
Going to be a tough act to follow, big guy.
Dave Portnoy pumped up the BYU-Utah rivalry as possibly the best.
Portnoy. It's not me.
You've done like 3 times.
The
Just
best in college
it's
football.
Noy. Kyle Van Noy and knee. Say hi to your knee. What do you have? Heine.
Isn't it good for both programs to have the rivalry get that attention?
Yes, it's deservedly so. I've been saying it for years, and I'm glad the Portnoy man came in here.
You misspelled it. That's
misspelled.
I just read it. You put it N-E-Y. It's N-O-Y.
Oh, yeah. All right. Blame it on me.
Oh.
You in my family now.
Just gonna go in and edit and I'm gonna fix it.
Okay.
Then I'll say it right.
Yes, and I thought it was cool. He came here and saw that. A place he's never been, literally zero exposure, and puts that out there after basically, 3 days in town? And he sees, that's what a rivalry's about, man. Yes, this rivalry is top notch.
It's got juice.
Embrace the good, get rid of the nonsense, and it benefits. Kids want to play in rivalry games. That's a absolute fact. Even you got Independence and Pac-12, and you got Cam Rising. Was that last year? Last media day? Might have been the year before. I want nothing more to go down there and kick their ass.
2 years back, I want to go down there and kick their ass.
Yeah.
It was the last Pac-12 media.
The only thing, he should have had a little more credibility, and instead of there, he should have said they. I think that would have given him more street cred. He's got the got the locks, now get the cred. If you don't want to get a tat, talk like you got a tat. See, that's my thing. I talk like I got a tat.
But you don't.
Right. Now, when you say, but I don't, are you arguing with me that I don't talk like I got a tat?
You don't have
or
a
I don't
tat.
have a tat?
You don't have a tat.
Have you seen me nude?
I've not. Thank goodness.
And how do you know I don't have a tat?
You've told me many times, and I trust your honesty.
You're probably right, because I haven't seen myself nude in a while. So they want that. Kids want that. And you can present that to them naturally. It's no rumble in the Rockies and this and that or any of that. If I'm BYU fans, I would say this week, they're missing. Again, BYU, I'm helping you market. If I'm BYU, I say, this is our Big 12 rivalry. You have it set up for you. I'm lobbing the softball
but who's going to
pitch.
do that? Because Kalani he respects everybody. It's an honor to play in the league and everybody. So he doesn't want to go anywhere near that kind of stuff. So who's it going to be?
And he's got a tat.
A-Rod?
He has street cred.
Jay Hill? A player? Bears a
fans.
Freshman.
All these media types.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, you're players. You're locked down. You forget that nonsense.
Okay, so turn over the fans and let them go.
Yeah, fans. BYU fans. Here you go.
Big 12 rival. The rumble in the Rockies.
Well, the way you spin it, if you're BYU, people, this is why you listen to me. I give you great ideas. Utah don't want to be here. They want out. They're going to leave. Well, who's going to be left? It's going to be the Cougars and the Buffs. And this is your rival. This is your Mountain Time Zone rival. It's set up right there.
They got to come up with something like wrestling in the Rockies and just mock the whole thing.
Yes. BYU fans, run to your social media posts and say, I told you. This is like me coming down from Mount Olympus with the commandments. This is your time. You're playing your true rival.
Despite the fact they haven't played in decades.
What did they play last year?
Well, they did, but that restarted it after decades.
This is going to be your future rivalry. You're not going to have a rivalry with a Big 10 team. Utah's got 1 foot out the door. Here's your chance.
You're cracking yourself up.
When you two do what you do, you make me respond that way.
That's funny.
So
you're funny.
Here's the deal, man. This is your true rival. Yes. If I'm BYU fans and there's going to be a bunch over there, they're all over the place, freaking like ants at a picnic, them BYU fans, and you win this game Saturday, you rush the field. You get a couple of beefy dudes, try to pick up Kalani, you just won the rivalry game.
Oh, man.
It's right there.
Your rival. Colorado hasn't been to Provo since 1946.
Yeah, but you're going.
It's perfect. No, this is perfect for just a ton of sarcasm and just totally do a whole send-up.
Don't Utah want out?
Man, if you believe what you hear, the answer to that is yes.
I always believe what I hear.
When is a Big Ten going to come calling?
Yeah, it's only a matter of time.
2030.
Two things are going to happen. Salt Lake's going to get an MLB team, and the Big Ten's going to get Utah. They're a land grant research institution, cold fusion, artificial hearts, all this stuff, man. Finally, the school down there is going to go have a nursing program. Geez, what took you so long?
Get the med school. Let's go.
They already have the nursing program. It's the med
right,
school.
but they'll have cadavers to work on because they got the doctors there.
They have an
had
anatomy
to come
lab
up
already,
here and
too.
do it all.
They're going to have cadavers to work on because they got the doctors. Oh, the doctors are going to kill people and provide cadavers?
No, people die every day.
It's not the goal of the medical school.
Yeah, but
doctors are supposed to be saving them.
Right, but it just doesn't happen.
Okay.
You know.
Can't bat 1,000.
You studied this. This is what it is. Well, you know the way of the world, man.
No, you were the pre-med on Friday night. Come on.
Yeah.
Oh, I studied it, but not pre-med.
All right, DJ and PK, we'll take a break. When we come back, we'll gather ourselves. We'll talk with Chris Anderson, publisher of Ear Sports. Mountaineers, get it? Ear Sports. He's covering West Virginia. He's been on with us before, knows his stuff. We'll talk to him about a team that was bad losing to a MAC team, good beating their rival, bad getting crushed at a conference opener. Who are these guys really? We'll talk with him next. DJ and PK, it's 97.5 The Zone. Bruce Springsteen, 75 years old today. How far is Asbury Park from where you grew up?
Hour, maybe.
Okay.
A little less.
Not right next door, but not that far away.
No.
I hear names of these communities. I don't know where they are.
It's a beach community.
Oh, okay.
It's Jersey Shore.
Down the shore.
Yeah.
There you go. The big 7-5 for the boss today.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Legend, no doubt about it.
Springsteen music all morning long. Utes getting ready for a trip to West Virginia. Rich Rod trying to get them back on track. They're 2-2 with a thumping in their conference opener. Kansas got them 41-10.
Yeah, that's a butt kicking, man, right there.
On both sides of the ball, right?
Yeah.
The offense goes in the locker room thinking 41 points. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Defense goes in the locker room thinking 10 points. That's pretty good. We win a lot of games. We do that.
Yeah.
And the touchdown came late after it was over. So even better.
I don't think Utah loses these types of games very often, and I don't anticipate it this week.
Get the W, feel better about yourself.
Yeah.
And then head into your bye week.
Yeah.
And let the rest of the league beat itself up. Look a little better when you look at the standings.
And there's worse things to be than 4-1, 1-1.
True story.
Yeah. And then you set up. I think everybody has 2 bye weeks this week or this season.
This season because of the way the calendar fell.
Yeah, so you'll have another one. I think it's maybe the second week in November, somewhere in there. And you're ready for not entirely the stretch run, but a stretch right there in October. I think you have a very favorable schedule that allows you to have success.
If you can handle ASU and BYU.
Yeah.
If you can't handle them, then the dream dies there, and they just try to win them.
But that was always going to be, even if you beat Texas Tech, that was going to be
It was going to be 2 big games. It always looked like 2 big
Right.
games, the way the schedule fell.
Right. And I think we're probably going to have another situation with a couple of losses at the top.
We're joined now by Chris Anderson, publisher of Ear Sports, covering the West Virginia Mountaineers. Chris, welcome back to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me on, guys.
So we talked to you in the run-up here, but now you've seen 4 games, and you got a better handle. And I'm curious if this has just confused the whole fan base, because I imagine everybody was down after losing to a MAC team. Everybody was pumped after beating Pitt in the rivalry game, and then everybody's down again after Kansas wins 41-10.
Yeah, I think that properly breaks down the emotions of the fan base. Me personally, I was a little more hesitant after the Pitt game, and I think a lot of people in Vegas were, for instance, with the line for the Kansas game being, I think it opened at 10.5 or 11.5, jumped up to 13.5, and some fans were like, whoa, that's so high. It's like, hey, I get it that West Virginia beat Pitt. It was an emotional comeback win, but nothing in that game changed the problems that West Virginia had in the first 2 games, which were that the offensive line struggled and the offense struggled as well. As on a per-play basis, West Virginia didn't improve. They just happened to get that comeback win.
What's going on at quarterback? It seems like you're playing a bunch of guys.
Yeah, I think Rich Rodriguez doesn't know. He said, that old saying, if you got 2 quarterbacks, you got none. And back in the summer, Rich Rodriguez was like, I got 5 quarterbacks I can win with. That's not true. I mean, everybody knew it wasn't true when he said it.
Yeah.
But I think he was kind of keeping it open that there's still a competition going. And honestly, with the offense he runs and the offense he's always run for decades now, you can't have, a game manager. The quarterback has to be explosive. They have to be explosive in the run game. And Nico Marchio is not explosive in the run game. I mean, we saw it in the Kansas game that throughout the game he had open space to run. It's just the moment he tried to run in that space, everything seemed to close up real quick. And it was just that the opposing defense was that much faster than him. When Jalen Henderson got in there for one drive, and some people are like, hey, this is the backups. It wasn't the backups. It was still Kansas starters. It was still their guys that were starting. All the guys making tackles were their starters. And they went right down the field. I think he ran the ball 6 times for 77 yards on that drive alone. And so I think, he can't pass. He hasn't shown the ability to pass far, but he can run. And so that might be the answer on Saturday when West Virginia takes on Utah.
Do they have the rest of the offense and just lacking at quarterback, or are there other flaws as well?
Oh, the offensive line is horrendous. That was something that I think this was my biggest thing during the offseason was it's going to be a struggle. They went out and they hit the point. And, they went out and hit the portal hard in December. They got five new transfers in December. They went through spring football with those 5 new transfers and the returners they had, and then went out and got 5 more transfers on the offensive line. And this is just one of those situations where it's like, hey, actions speak louder than words. And when a coaching staff looks at it throughout the entire spring and says, oh, my God, we need 5 more offensive line transfers, there's a problem. And it's been a problem. I don't see how it's getting better. And, they haven't even tried new guys. Maybe Saturday's the day they try new guys. But as I've kind of said to West Virginia fans, the coaching staff's not purposefully playing the wrong guys. It may just be a personnel problem that bad on the offensive line.
Do they start going to gadget plays, trying to create something if they can't sustain drives?
Yeah, and I think they're going to try some things. The problem is, the quarterback position so far has been pedestrian, I think is a good word for it. The offensive line has been dreadful. Their star running back, Jaheim White, got hurt, out for the season. Ty Edwards, who came in for the Pitt game and was great for that game, got hurt at the end of that game, missed Kansas, might miss this weekend. I think Coach Rodriguez said he was probably more doubtful than anything during his radio show on Monday night. So, and then you lose your number 2 wide receiver to injury for the season as well. So you're really stretching. I mean, you love to get some gadget plays in, but to whom? All your best athletes, all your best guys might be gone already.
Didn't they bring in something like 70 guys? I'm not sure Rich Rod knows everybody's name. So with that in mind, isn't this somewhat expected?
Yeah, I think it was. I mean, I think, honestly, it was something like 70-some, almost 80 new guys. I think it was 50-some transfers plus another 20-some high school additions. And they were adding pieces to the roster. They were legitimately adding guys that have since played the week before the season opener. Like 2 or 3 weeks into fall camp, they were still adding guys that have since played and are contributing to this team. I think the most alarming part is, and for me personally, I was like, yeah, offensive line is bad, but Rich Rodriguez, offensive mind, offensive guy. The offense will be at least decent. And really, it's been the other way. The defense has been great. It fell apart in the second half against Kansas, but that was because the offense, I think, was like 7 straight 3-and-outs, and eventually you just can't anymore. And so I think that might be the part that's really kind of getting to fans and being like, man, this is crazy. Like, the offense was supposed to be at least good. That's what Rodriguez is known for, and it just hasn't.
So what is are people resetting the expectations for the season? Are they giving up on 2-2? Are they giving up on bowl eligibility already?
Yeah, I think a lot of people have. I mean, my stance before the season was 5-7 or 6-6, and I was leaning 6-6 because as the season approached, I was like, hey, this defense might be good, and if the offense is decent as I expect, and the defense is good, 6-6 is a real possibility. Now the offense is bad. And I think a lot of people, if you go check out my message board, it's, does he get fired at 2-10? Is 3-9 too much to ask for? Those kind of things. I mean, that's a little over dramatic. I think they'll get a couple more wins, but 6-6 might be tough sledding given the remaining schedule.
How about from the defensive perspective? I watched some of that Kansas game. I happen to think Kansas is good, and I know they had a losing season last year, but I think they can contend. And if they got a break or two, possibly find their way into Arlington. So I can't really say that I was surprised. Utah's coming off a bad offensive performance. What do you expect from that to defense from West Virginia against Utah's offense?
I think it's really just a matter of if the offense can kind of keep them up. Because in that Kansas game, in the first, I think Kansas scored early. And then there was a stretch there where – and that was just off a blown assignment. It was like 4th and 2, and everybody went for the short route, and they hit another guy and got a long TD. And that was like really the only bad play for much of the first half. And the defense forced something like 4, 5, 6 straight punts, but the offense had 7 straight 3-and-outs or something similar. So the defense kind of fell apart. So I could see the defense, they're good. Like, they have a handful of guys that you could see getting NFL draft consideration next year. Michael Coates, I mean, he's one of the best corners in the country. He graded out as one of the best corners in the country per PFF last year. His coverage grade, the only guys higher than him last season when he was at Nevada, are playing in the NFL right now. And he's at West Virginia, and I'm coming into yesterday's game and then even or Saturday's game and even after Saturday's game, I believe he's been targeted only like 4 times, and he's given up 1 catch for 2 yards. So he's just shutting down an entire half of the field. And they just got Jamari Robinson back, who was the Conference USA player, the Defensive Player of the Year last year. He had some eligibility issues. Kansas was his first appearance, and the Jayhawks, as you said, they did a great job on offense, and they did an even better job of kind of keeping him out of the play. Like, his specialty is rushing the passer, and they just went away from him, put him in coverage, just did a nice job with that. And so I could see West Virginia, keeping things tight, keeping it low scoring against Utah.
Utah, Kyle Whittingham has said this is the best offensive line he's had as a coach there, but they could not run the ball at all against Texas Tech. It looks like the run defense, and maybe you can speak specifically to the front seven or really just the down linemen here. They got run over last week against Kansas, but the rushing numbers in the previous games, even against Ohio, and certainly in the win against Pitt, were pretty good. So what do you think of the run defense, especially right at the line of scrimmage?
Yeah, that was a position where they returned, out of all the positions, that was the one I think had the most returning snaps or the most returning experience from the Neil Brown era. Eddie Vistaranen, Hassani Redwood, Hammond Russell, those guys are all contributors / starters on that defensive front, and they're good. They are above average starters on the defensive line. And then you add in some of the new guys that they got, like Eddie Kelly from Missouri, Devon Grant. You're kind of like, who's elite? I don't know. Like, maybe Jamari Robinson, if you want to call him that. He kind of plays this bandit position, which is a stand-up defensive end edge rusher. But as far as the down linemen go, they've really just stacked a lot of above-average players, and it's been pretty good. Now, sometimes it gets exposed, again, when you face something like you mentioned, like Kansas just might be really good on offense, and the defensive line just worn down. And some of the problems with that was also the next 3, the linebackers. I think the linebackers for West Virginia had, trying to remember the total number, but it was like 7 or 8 missed tackles just for the linebackers. So maybe the defensive line was doing a decent job, but the linebackers just couldn't finish the play.
Mm-hmm. We used to like to watch Rich Rod at Arizona because at any given moment during the game, his head might explode. He was highly entertaining on the sidelines. Has he had any of that this year?
Yeah, I mean, he's had a couple moments in some of those games. He's had good and bad. Like, he's an emotional guy. He certainly wears his emotions on his sleeves. Against Kansas, there were a couple moments where he kind of lost it. There was one particular play where West Virginia went for it on 4th and 2. And I'm not sure who he was mad at because he's the play caller. But, like, they went for it on 4th and 2, and every receiver went at least 10 yards down the field. So I don't know if somebody ran the wrong route. There was there's no quick hit. There was no options there. And they turned it over on downs, and he lost it. And, again, there's no clear answer who he was talking to, who he's mad at, but he was upset. But it goes the other way, too. I mean, the Pitt game, he was about as happy as could be, and somebody tried to bring up, like, redemption for the last time I played Pitt, and he was just, like, shot it down. I was like, I'm not answering that. You can't ruin my good mood tonight. I'm not. I know it. Get out of here. So.
Do you sense that the community is rallying and they're going to have more money going forward? Because it seems like this is only escalating.
We'll see. I mean, he was, when he was brought back, there was a schism, amongst the fan base of, just the way he left and how things ended last time, of whether they really wanted him back or not. And I think winning cures that. So I think, if you would have asked me after that Pitt game, I would have said, man, I bet you these donors are ready to go. You asked me after the Kansas game, I bet there's some people that don't want to put money forth anymore. And that's a problem for West Virginia. Mike, the guy I work with, we were just having the conversation on our podcast the other day. Where does West Virginia rank as far as the money they put forth for NIL, for rev share? out of the 12 teams that they face, or the 11 FBS teams that they face on their schedule this year, and themselves. So 1 through 12 out of those 12 teams. And we decided they were probably 10th out of those 12 teams, which, I don't think that's the definitive reason they're struggling this year, but that's going to be a problem as the years go along.
Well, Chris, as always, we appreciate the time. Thanks for talking a little football with us, and enjoy the game on Saturday.
All right, thanks for having me on, guys. Appreciate it.
Chris Anderson, publisher of Ears Sports, covering the West Virginia Mountaineers. DJ PK, it's 97.5 The Zone. When we come back, everything you missed in this show, we'll get to it all next. Stay with us.
It's game week for the Utes, and the KSL Sports Zone is getting you ready for kickoff. The Utes head back east for their first Big 12 road game of the season as they get set for a showdown with West Virginia. Listen all week long for the best coverage of Utah football. Then catch college football Saturday game day at 10 a.m. with the postgame show immediately following the game on KSLSports.com.
Let's go then. Let's go, baby.
Your home for the best coverage of Utah football is live on air, online, and on the KSL Sports app. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Oh, he was doing the best he could. Wasn't able to practice Tuesday or Wednesday, a little bit Thursday. I'm going to tell you that it definitely impacted Devon. But if you're out there, you got to get it done. And so we never use that as an excuse.
I mean, I was suited up all week last week. My availability was never in question. But, I mean, just now it's on West Virginia. Let's go attack it.
Slacker Radio headlines brought to you by Trajan Wealth. Call Trajan Wealth today, your local trusted financial fiduciary, 801-899-7600, or visit their website at trajanwealth.com. Kyle Whittingham asked a direct question in his press conference about injuries, answered it, and didn't answer it with, we don't talk about injuries. He got to that eventually, but not until he'd already talked about it a little bit. It was a breath of fresh air. Personally, I enjoyed it. But you brought up, and I didn't really think this because I thought they got beat at the line of scrimmage, and that's why they lost the game. Turnovers, too. But I don't view Dampier's injury, whatever it is. I know internet sleuths, Yak foremost among them, are divining what may or may not be going on. There's a photo with Urban Meyer, and maybe there's some kind of brace on an ankle. Was that it, or was that precautionary? It was something else. I don't know the answer to that. So I didn't really take it as an excuse, but I get how people could. That wasn't my immediate reaction to it. My immediate reaction was, I'm surprised he talked about that.
I'm not necessarily thinking it as an excuse. It's because you can argue, you'll never know, if he was 100% healthy, they still wouldn't have won. I think what Ute fans are just thinking, oh my gosh, here we go again. What is going on?
Oh, the passing game isn't good enough. Yeah,
well,
I get it.
I'm talking about the injured quarterback.
Oh, okay. Injured quarterbacks.
And so
the games that have been played with it.
Yeah, right. Exactly, right. And
it's not just an injury,
scarred.
But they're
scarred from 2 seasons in a row of it.
He's going to be back. He's going to be back.
Yeah.
It's a week away. He's a week away.
Right. And
which
it's
was
like,
one
here we go
entire
again.
season and then half to 2/3 of the next season. After the ASU thing last year, it was over. We all knew.
After the Baylor thing, it was over. But, I mean, then it came and literally it was over.
But the scarring, he's going to come back, and they did give him another shot.
Right. And that was about a month later.
In retrospect, it was over.
And
with
he
the
was
Baylor thing.
ineffective, and he got injured. He got crushed early in that game. And it's like they're so scarred for it. They're thinking, is this another spiel where we have high hopes? And then the kid is hurt, and then it lingers. He can play, maybe he can't play, or he's not effective. And then nobody has any faith in the guys in the back. And the optics of it don't look good when Texas Tech's quarterback got knocked out of the game twice.
Yeah, the optics of it are bad all the way around. Because from the Texas Tech perspective, and I don't know, I've watched one game. I'm not hip deep in Texas Tech football. But it looked to me like clearly the backup was better than the starter.
Well, this is a Tom Brady situation in Texas Tech developing.
Yeah, right. You had a good quarterback, but you might have a really good quarterback behind him.
Drew Bledsoe, you are Baron Morton.
Yeah.
And Baron Morton, Will Hammond is all that against that defense. Oh, my gosh. If I am the NFL, I lose for 2 years so I get in a position to draft Hammond. That's how good I think he is.
Hammond's the new flavor. Flavor of the month.
Whether he's good or not is that they had to turn to him.
They had
The
to
kid
turn to
got
him.
knocked out twice.
They had to turn to him.
So-
Right. And then in the fourth quarter, he was lights out.
Right.
He was hitting on the patterns that Morton was missing on.
And should they have put in Bird? I don't know what's going on with Isaac Wilson. Should they have put in Bird, Ficklin earlier? Because Dampier wasn't getting it done. It just wasn't happening. Whether it's the ankle, whether it's his inability, whether it's the offensive line, or it's the man on the moon, none of that matters because
if one guy can move the ball and the other guy can't, it doesn't really matter why.
But he's a first-year freshman. You went down that road last year. It's just the whole thing is a big bowl of crap. And I can see why Ute fans would be so reticent to just thinking, oh, my gosh, again?
Why can't we get good quarterback play from a healthy quarterback? I don't need the drama. I don't need the distractions. I don't need, C+ quarterback play. Like B+, A- quarterback play. I mean, you'd love the A+. Sure, absolutely. Get Alex Smith and have the first pick in the NFL draft quarterback in your team. That'd be great.
And then they built up Dampier just a week ago, literally at the same meeting every Monday at 11 o'clock. Kyle gave Dampier an A+.
Mm-hmm. Glowing.
So what are you now, an F-? Yeah. What happened here? Where are we going with this? And so hopefully the kid is healthy. He can do his thing. If he does his thing, they're clearly good enough to beat West Virginia.
Let's assume he does his thing. And I know there's people out there also saying, well, it was the Mountain West, and now, he's struggling against the big boys.
I know.
Okay, but Texas Tech is the biggest of the big boys. Maybe he's not good enough to cut up a top 20 defense.
I'm not so sure they're the biggest of the big boys. I think we're overinflating Texas Tech.
Okay, but that's from a guy who picked him to go to the championship game.
Yeah, but I didn't pick him the best of the best.
No, that's the NFL scouts showing up. We were told a lot of NFL scouts there to see their D-line go against the Utah offensive line.
Yeah, they were there. But we're building up Texas Tech like they are the most dominant team in the conference.
What happened to Utah could happen again against ASU or BYU. If it happens against West Virginia, then that is a disaster and huge red flags. Right. It's a lower level competition. They should take care of business here. And they got a bye week. And then it's the Devils and the Cougars, which we've had circled since the schedule came out. And right now, BYU's 3-0 and largely untested here. And the Devils are 3-1 and they messed up one game. They give a big play with 30 seconds to go.
Yeah, that's not so bad.
No.
Yeah.
No, they look good.
Yeah. Looked okay. Yeah, they're not nearly.
I didn't say they're great. Not going very good or great.
Yeah.
But if you don't play your best, you can lose to them.
I agree. Yeah.
And right now, I get it. If everyone is sitting out there going, yeah, I don't really know what the Utes' best looks like. Yeah, I get that. That's fair.
Well, they're not as good as we thought they were or some people thought they were based on those 3 lousy games. I guess not that they were lousy, but the competition was lousy. Yeah. And I don't think they're as bad as they showed against Texas Tech. I don't think Texas Tech is the greatest team. I think we're building them up a little too much.
Why?
They're good.
For me.
And they could win the conference, but I don't think they're going to breeze through every game 34-10.
Oh, I'd agree with that. Yeah, I'd agree with that. But if you win the conference, I think you're really good. There's a lot of good programs. Whatever it takes to get to the end and win it, you're really good.
Well, it doesn't really matter what we think of them. If you are the winner, you're the winner.
Right, yeah. You're the winner.
It doesn't matter. You've shown it, and you can debate that, but it's debateless. It's pointless. They
did it.
Yeah, and they very well could do it. Yeah.
Just to me, all aside from the quarterback thing, the fact that, and I thought of this because of stuff we were talking about last week. Are the Utes going to be behind the chains? Are the Utes going to be facing 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8? And literally they came out in the first 3 drives and they faced all 3 of those things.
They did.
And they faced them because they're running the ball on first down, which doesn't have anything to do with Dampier's health. He's turning around and handing off, and the back's going for 2 yards, and the linemen are all laying on the ground at the line of scrimmage. They're getting no push. That's not about the quarterback.
Yeah, but see, I think it is about the quarterback. It's not about the quarterback's health. It's that there's no respect for the throw game.
And I thought that a lot, and I got 2 questions in a press conference, and I asked Kyle about that, and he said they stayed in 2 high safeties. They did not bring the safety down the box very much at all. It was 2 high safeties. So if I were playing the Utes, I think I'd be putting the safety in the box and putting an extra defender in there and make you block him and dare you to. No, they didn't. You're right. They didn't do it. And maybe
so why would you
other
do
people
that?
will.
Of course,
it would have been my game plan. It would
I
have
know,
been my
but
game
if you
plan
didn't
right
need
from the
to
start.
do it, why would you do it? Of course, I would have put the two safeties on the bench to have them get a lounge chair and have a pina colada. They weren't needed.
11 on 9, huh?
They weren't needed. So why? That's a big old duh. Why in the world would you move them up if you're not needed?
Because I would have gone right from the start and assumed they were needed and assumed that they couldn't throw deep. And I think right from the start I would have been there.
Kyle Whittingham does not come out slinging the ball all over the field. And I don't care if Jason Beck has 110% autonomy. It's not what they do.
Which is why I would have moved the safety up in the box, yes. They're going to run it. But
they didn't need to.
As it turns out, they didn't. But I'm telling you, that would have been the game plan for the first snap.
For the first snap, fine. Did he say this first snap? I mean, they dominated.
No, he said most of the game. You can go listen to the bite. He said most of the game they had the two safeties up high.
But I mean, after the first series, and you were up 7-0.
Yeah, you hit on the big play.
Yeah,
that's the other thing we haven't talked about because
but nevertheless,
the part that wasn't fluked is missed tackles. And Kyle had the number. I can't remember. Was it 23 or 26? It was a lot. It was more than 20 missed tackles. It was way too many.
You don't have a guy go running around like that. It was a fluky play. But, I mean,
there were missed tackles.
They also had, which led to the fluky play. And then they also had a 3rd and long, and they gave up a first down at about the 2. And maybe
they did. Yes,
get out of there with a 3.
Yeah, it did look like they might hold them for 3.
Yeah.
You're right. And they were behind the chains, but they made the play.
Right. They got that first down. I think it was like the 1 or 2.
Threw it over the middle, down to the 1 or 2. Yeah.
So much to improve on, and let's allow them the opportunity to do that.
A winnable game in a bye week. So there's time for a lot of film, a lot of practice.
There's not a game on their schedule that is not winnable.
Yeah. That's the magic of the Big 12. And that's part of the reason to say that Texas Tech is just going to light everybody up every week isn't true.
But I am willing to say, I don't know this, we're surmising right now, that they, if you want to make the argument, they played the best team on their schedule already. I'm fine with that.
But that goes back to the Scarts issue. It's not just that they lost it.
Yeah.
It's how they lost it, and the storylines that came out of it.
And the only question we had for Dampier was he'd be good enough in the throw game. And he wasn't.
Yep.
And then if you can't run it, you ain't going to score. You're going to suck. And that's what happened. So it was a nightmare performance. And it's hyped up with the Fox Big Noon and everybody there and everybody's jacked up. I mean, I walked around. I went down there to the place. I had some friends that were tailgating. I spent some time over there. And you could just sense it, man. Everybody was hyped, blah, blah, blah. Everybody knew it was this huge game, two ranked teams, yada, yada. And then they fell flat.
And there it is.
Right.
All right, other stuff we've talked about. We talked about that with Frank Dolce this morning. You can get that wherever you get your podcasts. And with Chris Anderson, we looked ahead to the West Virginia game, publisher of Ear Sports. And he is way down on the West Virginia offense. They found a way with a ton of emotion to make plays and beat Pitt, but feels like that's the exception to the rule. The losses are the ones that they feel like are the real team right now.
Sure, but I mean, gosh, you bring in 70-plus new players.
A new coach.
That's out of desperation.
Yeah.
You didn't bring them in because you thought, well, they could really be supplements to what we got going. No, you didn't have anybody.
You didn't have anybody going, and that's why you made the coaching change.
Right. And so here you are. So this is a great opportunity. BYU has a great opportunity themselves with Colorado and the attention that Coach Prime draws unto himself. That it is going to be a great opportunity. Saturday's going to be a great day of football. We are Tuesday?
Mm-hmm.
Wake me up Saturday morning. I'm looking forward to it, man. Aggies early, Utes midday, Cougars late. If I don't get out of Saturday night at least plus 4 pounds, something's wrong.
Sitting there eating salty food, drinking beverages. There you go.
Yeah.
Get your Coke Zero, your chips, your dip.
What more do you want?
A nap.
And
see, you don't have 4 teams and 4 windows, so you got one TV window. You can drift off there.
On top of that, this is what, for me, is called work. Come on.
Yeah. Well, get used to West Virginia because after they host Utah here, they're right back Friday in Provo. Prime time.
Yeah. Friday night. That must mean church is Saturday. And everybody knows I won't be watching football that day.
Oh, really?
Uh-huh.
You're joining the brethren, huh?
No, I'll be golfing.
Oh, okay.
Just kidding.
Comedy. We talked a little NFL football this morning. The Ravens are 1-2. Who are you, Baltimore? You always have a good defense. You can always run the ball. You do not have a good defense. You could not run the ball. If Lamar Jackson wasn't on point, they'd have gotten blown out. He had a good game throwing the ball, but they ended up losing 38-30.
Well, gosh, freaking Detroit running up the gut and gaining 8-9 yards a call.
Yeah.
They're constantly in second and third and short.
They were a machine.
Without Van Noy, they no good.
There it is. Jared Goff only threw for 202 yards. They didn't need him to throw for more.
No. I was thoroughly impressed with their ability just to run up the gut, too.
And this is twice for the Ravens. Yeah, they broke the big, I don't know, what was that? Montgomery went 65 yards, whatever it was. Got caught, but flipped the field.
Well, you're always going to get caught because usually the fastest guys are on the
defensive backs.
Backfields.
Yeah, and he didn't have a blocker, and so. Ravens fall to 1-2, and they play the 1-2 Chiefs next week. So somebody's going to be 1-3, and it's still not over at 1-3 in a 17-game season. But that's a pretty big hole to dig out of.
Correct.
There's time to do it, but it's a pretty big hole. And I think for the Chiefs, especially because they're down 2 receivers and they're supposed to get them both back. So if they're not in too big a hole, there'll be time for them to win. And the playoffs are changing. They've added another wild card now. It's 10 wins ought to get you in. It didn't for Seattle last year, but most 10-win teams get in. So just try not to get to 1-5.
I had a little Chiefs fatigue, but I don't want to have Andy Reid go out on a sour note.
Aha.
Whenever that time is to go out, I'm not saying he's retiring this year, but whenever that time is, I would like to see him go out on a good note.
A lot of injury news week 3. Nick Bosa, torn ACL. Niners lose him. They are 6-12 when he doesn't play, and he's going to miss the rest of the season. Without him, no pass rush. Without him, giving up yards, giving up points, losing games. Big loss for the Niners. Najee Harris, James Conner, those injuries confirmed. Chargers lose their running back to an Achilles, and the Cardinals lose their running back to foot surgery. Not his ankle, his foot, but either way, he's out for the year.
Yeah, it happens every year to a bunch of guys, and it always stinks.
And CeeDee Lamb to injured reserve with a high ankle sprain, so that's a minimum of 4 games if they go ahead and make that move. And it's anticipated they will, but it's not done yet, so we'll see. But he could be there.
That's why you got to take your money any chance you can get in the NFL.
Violent sport.
Yeah.
You can all end in a heartbeat, as we're seeing.
I had a friend.
I mean, there's more guys than this hurt, but these are just the name guys. The stars.
Well, gosh, I was watching that SC Michigan State game, and they had to bring out the stretcher, put the guy in the neck brace, and you're just thinking, oh, my gosh. I had a friend of mine whose son played major college football, and he said he just breathed a sigh of relief after every season.
Yeah.
And his kid did not get hurt. I mean, I'm sure he had bumps and bruises. They all do.
But he didn't have the major injury that.
And he always felt like he was so grateful and lucky that his kid didn't have a serious or multiple serious injuries, as we've seen to many type players, and have that happen.
ACC announced they're going to a 9-game conference schedule. The Big Ten and the Big 12 are there. The SEC's making the move also. So everybody's going to be playing 9 games in conference and a 10th Power League opponent or Notre Dame. We have the unity and the scheduling community, PK. Never thought it would happen, but here we are. So now whatever comes next in the playoff, they go to 16 teams, whatever they do, seems like that could come next. Seemed like those two things were linked for a while there. So I'm expecting something.
16 and no buys.
Right.
I'm all for it. That's more games that matter.
Exactly.
Yeah.
More chance to get another Big 12 team in.
Yes, and we have an opportunity here to one of our 2 teams to host a playoff game. Would be super cool. No other way around it. It would be huge.
NBA is almost here. Jazz Media Day.
Goodness.
Jazz Media Day next week.
Oh, NBA.
And the first major injury of the year, Fred VanVleet, torn ACL, will likely miss the entire season. Big loss for the Rockets, who brought in Kevin Durant, which, as you pointed out earlier in the show, means the future is now. Get into your late 30s. The future is right now, and now they got to do a year without Fred VanVleet.
Yeah, I didn't have them winning it anyway, but yeah, I get it.
It's still a hit.
Oh, and there's no doubt about it. No, he's a nice player, particularly at this stage of his career, understanding what he needs to provide.
Oklahoma City to repeat. Denver made some moves, and the Nuggets get back on top. Somebody else?
I would go with Oklahoma City unless they have some injury that derails them, because that's the scary thing is that they're just getting started themselves.
All right, DJ and PK, when we come back, your feedback is next. Stay with us. DJ and PK, it's time for your feedback. PK, you wondered yesterday, what should number 47's nickname be? 61% want you to stick with Grizzly Bear. Only 10% like Rockmeyer.
Well, then it boils down to the Grizz it is.
29% say other. And most of them are like, he doesn't need a nickname. Bears. It's Bears so cool, he doesn't need a nickname.
No, it's the add upon the coolity of it, though.
The coolity?
Yes. Yeah. Grizzly Bear. Oh, man. That sounds ferocious.
Sal wants him to call the Ute Mauler. Sal's ready for the rivalry game.
I eat Utes for lunch.
I eat Utes. There we go.
Cannibalism. All right.
Isn't that one of that Mike Tyson rant? I will eat your children or something.
Yeah. Yeah, that was weird.
He was going nuts on something.
He was talking. He was getting more and more wound up. He's getting more and more wound up, and then all of a sudden, you're like, "Whoa, what just happened?"
Yeah. Good for him.
So we had the Portland State coach, and this was brought up in the aftermath of our conversation yesterday, DJ. Did you see that tweet?
I did not.
So Bruce Barnum, who's been around Portland State for a long time, in his postgame comments, called him a centaur.
I don't know that people are going to know that.
I agree.
It's too long. Where the Grizzly Bear, if you go Grizzly Bear, you could only be talking about one guy in the entire lifetime and existence of football. The Grizzly Bear. Does anybody else have that?
Not that I know of.
And then he just goes by Grizz. You've arrived if you have a nickname and a nickname off the nickname. There's only one guy that I know who has that.
Who's that?
Guy grew up in East Lansing, Michigan. See, if you were really cool.
Magic Johnson.
But if you were on the inside.
You called him Buck.
Right.
I didn't know that for a long time. Then I read it somebody.
Because you weren't on the inside.
I was not.
I was on the inside.
I had a kid. Yeah, I think Magic probably had 2 or 3 titles before I knew that.
Jim Hill always called him Buck.
Buck.
And Jim Hill is still working.
He is?
Yeah.
Nice.
I saw him when I was down
Still
there.
at the same station, doing the same thing?
I don't know about the station, but he's still...
down there doing interviews.
He's got to be 80 by now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they call him Buck. So how about this, man? You're Bear, but really you're Grizz?
Okay.
That's pretty cool.
Nickname off a nickname.
Yeah. You got it going on at that point. And will he have it going on Saturday night? If he plays well Saturday night and they win comfortably, start dreaming.
Look at you.
You were asking about Jim Hill, how old
78.
He is? Yeah.
78.
Still doing his thing.
Well, he turns 79 in another month, so you missed it by 13 months.
Okay.
You're close.
Because I saw him last month when I was down there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He was there. I was in the restroom in the Forum Club, and I was in the stall, and there was one stall, and at the urinals was Jerry West and Jim Hill, and Jerry West is just going off, ripping sports writers. And Jim Hill, yeah. Not that they wouldn't have had no clue who I was at that point if I would have come out, but I waited. I wanted to hear it all.
Don't interrupt. Don't interrupt. They're on a roll.
Right.
We got people weighing in here. Chewbacca, to be honest, I think Bird has more potential than Dampier, but Dampier's the junior with experience and came over with Beck, so he's most likely going to stay QB1. I'm not off the Dampier train by any means. I'm just saying Beard appears to have more pocket passing potential, IMO.
I don't know that, though. I don't know how you can say that. That might very well be true, but I don't know how you have that knowledge.
Haven't seen enough to know.
No.
We've got almost highly ranked at True Blue BYU 1984. I'm as surprised as at PK and at DJ here, even with Whit even discussing Dampier's injury. Texas Tech lost their starting quarterback too and still smoked the Utes. And then he's got this dog giggling, giving the side-eye look. It's a funny dog, isn't it?
Yes.
You see him lick his lips.
Yes.
Oh, man. All right, off of, you told a story early this morning about getting the look from Vijay Singh's trainer.
Correct.
Because we were talking about the college basketball, the retirement of Bruce Pearl. And you worked out in a hotel once, in the hotel gym, and he was just exactly what you see on TV. He's chatting you up.
Yeah.
He's outgoing, blah, 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 right? Just like all this energy.
Right.
And then you said it's not like that every time in a hotel gym. Like, don't come here near VJ. Don't look at what we're doing.
Yes.
You got a guy staring you down.
Yeah.
So we got this from a listener. I got the glare from Reggie Miller back during the 03-04 season when I did charter flight security screening for Million Air. The Jazz won. He and the coach were the last ones to come through the hangar. He put his bag on the table for me to inspect. All I said was, "Hi, Reggie." I got the look of all looks. How dare you use my first name, you lowly scum.
You know, I've been in situations with Reggie Miller, not me and him, but situations. And I just don't think he's comfortable in that because I have seen that myself.
Really?
Multiple times. Yes. Where he doesn't even acknowledge.
Interesting.
I saw him once standing behind him checking into a hotel in New Orleans. He doesn't like that. I don't know if I can't imagine that
some kind of public anxiety, some kind of thing he's got going.
The old phrase "stuck up." I can't imagine how verbose he is and has been, and was. I was there when he was playing college ball, and you know he was, because of his sister. He was always a magnet for attention. But I've now seen him since several times. And I've noticed that in the NCAAs.
So is it more you think that he would just like to be invisible?
You get that impression? He's just not that comfortable in those situations.
Interesting. Because that's not how he comes off on TV. He's really got a knack for it.
Right.
And he does some radio with some national guys, and he's got a knack for that. I mean,
I've seen him in, like, just in practice, like in the NCAA, they have the open practice, and people will call out to him. His head is down, looking at the floor. So when you just read that, I can witness to that.
Yeah. The listener's gone to say AK and Duncan didn't have those grandiose egos, though, and were more jovial, at least with me. Brushes with stars.
Oh, okay, not on the same trip, yeah.
No, but just if you're a millionaire, people are passing through, charters are passing through, sports teams.
You would think in that because you're in the public, but you're not really in the public. It's still a place where the public is not allowed to go through. So you're somewhat limited.
It's somewhat
there.
Private. There's not a lot of people over there.
Yeah, I've never been there.
It's pretty quiet.
I've never flown charter.
Oh, really?
Have you flown charter, Yuck?
I have.
Oh, great.
Have you ever gone over there to interview somebody coming off a flight or anything like that?
No.
Oh.
What would I do that for?
Done it multiple times because team did something. Once it was about a coach leaving, maybe. Which turned out to be true.
No, I'll call him up. I said, hey, I need you to meet with me at 7 o'clock. I'm not going to go out there.
Okay, and earlier I said something about, how did I use the word fixed? You took it to be the Pets. What was I talking about?
You read something there.
Is it?
In the
fixed opponents for the SEC.
Oh, yeah, it was the SEC. You're right. They're going to have 3 fixed opponents. And then you started making spay your pets thing. And so we get this. We got Bob Barker, on the Price is Right.
Known for doing that.
Have your pet spayed or neutered.
Didn't he end every Price is Right with that?
I think he did.
Every single one.
My mother was a huge Price is Right
fan. It's a great game show.
As a child who grew up in the 90s and you're homesick, guess what came on at 10 o'clock in the morning?
It's just not the 90s.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, right?
Oh, it's the 70s and
70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s,
when
2010s.
did it come on? 70s?
I think in the 70s, but I don't really know.
Yeah, right. Oh, yeah, that's where I got it from Bob Barker. I wouldn't have thought it myself. The fixed thing is
first episode September 4th, 1972.
Yeah.
Oh, but it's a revival. It started in 56 to 65.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, and then they revived it in 72. I think there's a lot of those classical game shows that should be brought back.
Like what?
Well, I guess I didn't know this. I was having this discussion with someone who said they should bring Hollywood Squares back, and apparently they did, and I didn't know it. Hollywood Squares was a classic. Password was a great game show.
The password is.
That's right, exactly. I don't think, what happened to the pyramid? The $25,000 pyramid, later the $100,000 pyramid? I thought that was a great show.
They're all gone, though, aren't they?
Well, Price is Right,
Wheel
isn't
of Fortune and Price is Right.
Jeopardy. Jeopardy's still around.
Okay, Jeopardy, yeah.
Yeah.
But that's it. It's like soap operas. There used to be 20 of them. Now there's like only two or three.
I think, given the stations and all that, it doesn't make any sense to me. Well, the Hollywood Squares is back. I guess it was ABC that brought Hollywood Squares back.
Yeah, but they want to have ladies screaming at each other in the morning and stuff. That's what works.
Okay, so you could have like 3 shows of that, but then one should counter program with game shows and get a bunch of viewers.
I'm with you.
DJ and PK, it's 97.5 The Zone. Jake and Ben are next.